put like a song from our so far what I've been doing is putting a song from our album, just to I don't know, just in case people start listening.
It's basically like a fade.
Well, you have a name for the show, right?
Yeah, it's the House of I podcast.
It's the House of I podcast.
This is the House of I podcast.
That's what I'm on right now.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
Hello,
Hi.
everybody.
It's the House of I podcast.
Wow, you guys
with
are
our special guest here, Beau Santana.
Beau the Fool, capital L.
BF.
Ooh.
Yes.
BF.
My name is Beau the Fool with the capital L. You gotta the capital L, because I say that because that's how I write it out. Because everything is like a normal name, right? But that L. That L better be fucking capitalized, or else I don't know who you're talking about.
That's not me.
That's not me. I didn't sign off on that shit. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on your podcast. It's nice to be on a different one besides my own.
Yeah, which is your own there, the one that we've been on twice now.
It is Blunt Sessions under Flohio Radio, Spreaker.com. You can check it out, look it up. You can actually just Google Blunt Sessions, and we are the top find. And you get our Facebook page and shit. And basically, we are on Spreaker, and we have our own little show. We do games, kind of almost like a morning show almost.
At night.
Kind of like, right. And it's kind of got that vibe a little bit where there's like little segments and everything. But a lot of times we just kind of go into topics and just kind of, talk and voice our opinions, and we're blunt. So hence Blunt Sessions,
And sometimes there's some
Right.
partaking
It's a what they call a double entendre. Fancy words and whatnot.
When do you guys stream live?
Every Wednesday night, 10 to 12, and occasionally we will, and that's 10 to 12 Eastern Standard Time. Mm-hmm. And occasionally we'll have a Saturday show where we'll start at 8, but that's more for special guests like yourselves that we had in actually just a few weeks ago,
which was fun.
That was a good time.
We actually talked about that on our podcast.
Yeah,
we did talk about that.
It's
on
like
our
when they do spin-offs on networks and whatnot, like on ABC. The Perfect Strangers. Wasn't that like a spin-off of one of their shows or something?
I don't watch TV, man.
What? You're a horrible person.
I watch Netflix, man.
Well, actually, back in the day, growing up. Because that was back in the day. That was like Full House.
Back in the day, I would
Matters.
watch.
No, you know what I watched? I watched The Fresh Prince. That was like besides cartoons at least back then.
What about not different strokes? It's a different world.
No, I never saw that. No.
That had you remember the Cosbys?
No. I'm 25, dude.
Still, like I'm sure you could.
I mean, they would come on like really late, so I would hardly watch it.
I never watched. Literally, the only show that I watched that was like from the '90s is Fresh Prince. That's it.
Okay, well, Cosby's, their oldest daughter, she went to college, which was another show. Oh. So it's like a spinoff. You know what a spinoff is, right?
I do know what a spinoff. It'd be like if Carlton got his own show.
Right, exactly.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Which they should have done that.
Or actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Jeffrey show.
That would be funny.
Where he kills people.
Oh my God, he's a murderer. Oh, that's why he's so chill at work all the time.
He's the butler murderer.
He's the butler.
The butler. I like it.
I
like it.
That's from
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't watch that much. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm surprised. You would love that show.
I mean, I've seen it, and it's a good show. I just
happened to recall it at the same time.
I legit watch too much shit. There's a lot of I like watch a lot of different shows, so
like
it's
what?
hard. Oh,
what's your? Oh, yeah, hold on. What's your favorite right now?
Favorite right? Fuck, that's a tough question.
Do you like Stranger Things?
Oh yeah, but honestly, right now that's in circulation. That's being like there's new episodes each week. Is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Marvel show.
Marvel?
Yeah, that show was really
current,
good.
like a current show.
Yeah,
I got asked that at work, and I was like, I don't know how to answer that. I said The Office.
Right, exactly, and that's up
like,
there.
That's not,
that and
not,
Scrubs. Scrubs is also up there.
But
Never
it's not
seen
a current
Scrubs.
Show.
That show was funny as hell.
I think it does the same thing that New Girl does, where you think it won't be good, but it actually is.
I haven't seen New Girl either. I've seen a couple episodes, not anything.
Even though I would watch that because Zooey Deschanel's in it, and I love her.
She's cute.
Wait, is it too much for you, you're saying? Or?
No, I love her. I would watch it, but I just keep forgetting, and then I just get caught up in other stuff. I'm like I'm going to watch that.
To the show?
Yeah, I wouldn't make it past the first episode. It wouldn't happen. At this
As soon
point,
as you're done,
yeah,
I don't wanna watch it
yeah, I'm
anymore.
done here. I'm gonna go ahead and put Parks and Recs on now.
I'm done now. I'm done here, he said.
I'm gonna go ahead and rewatch The Office for like the 5th time.
It takes me really long to watch the show because I end up masturbating. And once I'm done, I just
I have
stop
no
10
interest.
seconds in.
So I've only watched a quarter of an episode, really. I mean, in reality,
In the first 15 minutes, about 5
usually
times.
the way I can answer that question is that I've seen the first 15 minutes of each episode in that series.
Oh god.
That's really gross.
Have you
But,
seen
yeah.
the new episode of New Girl? Yeah,
Yeah.
like about 10 times.
Like literally, you mean we're talking about the first 5 minutes, right? Yeah.
I saw
Plenty
that.
of time. Plenty.
That would be so weird. Like,
More than enough.
only the first 5 minutes. Just like, what? Why only the first? It's a long story. I don't want to
trust
get
me, you
into
don't
it.
wanna
It's,
know.
it's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
it's a gross story. It's a sticky subject.
Right. It's a very sticky subject.
Did you like the episode or not? I mean, whatever. Let's
It was
move
yeah,
on.
sure. It was a great episode. Fine, fantastic. But
Especially
yeah.
when Zoe's in.
Oh yeah, I mean, and since she's the star of the show, it's like, what are you gonna do? You know,
Oh,
there's
my God.
obligations in life.
I don't even know how
Exactly.
we ended up there, but okay.
But yeah, that's and that right there is pretty much how Blunt Sessions works.
Yeah. No, it's funny because, you guys are. I love going on there because it's kind of the way that I would just talk to friends. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I don't feel like there's a pressure to talk about specific things, which is always cool.
Yeah, and we do that a lot. And I mean, and the thing is now it's funny because we're in our 2nd season, which we didn't even realize that we were doing that until we started it. Which it's funny,
wow.
but yeah, because like when we had started initially, it was technically speaking me, my brother Serge, known as Surgeon General on the show, and Kyle, who is known as K Swiss. The 3 of us did an episode, and we lost it because it got corrupted, the file.
Yeah.
So, but after that, I for whatever reason didn't just do it. So they did it for a few months, and eventually I came on and started doing it, and we did for almost a year, and then we took a break. We took a hiatus for a few months, and when we came back, Gino, actually, who was also on the show, Gino Lexus, DJ Gino Lexus, all sorts of stuff. This guy, he's got a lot of things going on for himself.
A lot
You
of
can check
things
him
over
out.
there.
He's actually really great.
What do you got things
But
over
he
there?
actually unintentionally came up with it.
With what? The fact that it's the second season?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because we went on a break for a while, like shows do. And when we came back, we were like just kind of talking, and he was like, "Yeah, it's our 2nd season." We were all like, "Yeah, we like this." So we just adopted it. So at this point, we're at season 2 now, right? And the things that changed dramatically in a sense is we stopped limiting ourselves in the sense of we had segments where we would do things for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, like specific things.
Right, and try to time manage. But since it's a podcast, we said, you know what? We're not going to limit ourselves as much and just kind of, if we do hit things, great. If not, fine, whatever. And, we get lost in conversation half the time, which is fun.
Yeah, that is the good thing about it is that you don't want it to feel because the thing is like in a conversation like you want it to feel as authentic as possible,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So if you were to do that, if you were to just okay, we're done with this segment, then it just kind of like kills like
It's
who
a
knows,
morning
like,
show. It's
Yeah.
like something you see on TV.
Exactly.
Yep.
And the morning shows, I know when, me, when I used to seriously like have to work that early and listen to that, because you really sometimes had no options.
Yeah.
You legitimately had either bad music or morning shows. So, I noticed that where they would say so many things were on the set, but end up sometimes only making a couple because they just get stuck on a topic because it was just that involved and that fun to talk about. So, we do that. But I mean, who knows? We may try to tighten it up a little bit more sometimes, but either way, it's fun. And if you want to randomly talk about stuff, that's what we do. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's where it's at. I mean, that's kind of what we're like the reason why we even started doing this. Well, I do listen to a lot of podcasts, but I guess I just thought about. I did think about. I'm not gonna lie. I thought about Blunt Sessions. I was like, I want to embody that. So that's kind of like
kinda cool.
that's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And I was like, yeah, it just made sense. I was just like, you guys are, your guys' show is fucking awesome. And I was just like, fuck, I want to want to do that as well. So that's kind of
You
the
go
idea.
on and have a good time. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really the point.
And the thing is, we're multifaceted, in the sense of we don't do just that.
Exactly.
I mean, as you guys obviously know and have been experience of and a part of, the excuse me, beer's getting me gassy. So that's awesome, right? But
have to keep
the
that.
Revolution Tour 3, if I'm not mistaken, you guys were a part of that.
Oh, at Skippers.
As skippers,
Yeah.
with Gino being a part of Blunt Sessions, he also does a lot of his own, which that was pretty much his, most of it, besides me hooking you guys up together and making that discussion happen. That is his thing. He likes promoting and putting shows together. So, but we also had a hand in it, and we got to broadcast live, which you can check that out too in our archive under our show. You can actually pull that up. So if you want to hear House of I perform at Skipper's Smokehouse,
That's cool.
yeah, that's awesome. It was April last year, and we're actually possibly gonna be able to do more things like that. So that's one of the most dopest things about doing it is the avenues that we're able to start going down.
Which as the podcast gets bigger, yeah, that's going to be the case. You guys are going to be able to basically like do whatever the fuck you want. If you want to go and make a show, you're going to go and do a show. If you want to, I mean, honestly, you guys could even like show up on another on a bigger show or something like that to promote your stuff.
And the nice thing too is that since it's all under my brother's flag of Flohio Radio, we have the opportunity to have other shows besides Blunt Sessions be under that and a part of the promotions and the broadcasting and things like that, which is really nice too. Because myself, I plan on doing a separate one myself eventually, to be determined on that. But it's nice, because I can easily say, yeah, I work with Flohio Radio, the Beau Show, which is what it is named, which is going to be coming out eventually. That's awesome. Like, I work on Blunt Sessions, and I also do my own show. It's cool. We have that ability to do that and also provide that opportunity to people. If somebody who wants to do a show, their own podcast or something, they can do that,
Yeah, so are you saying that the Flohio is going to be almost like what would you call it? I guess kind of like what's the word for that? Because there's something I can compare it to, like from the podcast that I listen to is All Things Comedy. What would you call that? It's like almost like a network, or is that what it would be?
I mean, it's realistically an entertainment company.
Yes.
I mean, in the sense, because not only will you have the shows, but the events that we do. And if people want to, have us host events, we're fully capable. Like, that's the thing, on the side parts, we have that ability. We have the equipment and the gear to say, hey, you need a DJ or somebody to broadcast, or you want to have, a podcast of your wedding or something. We can do that.
Yeah.
Which is dope.
Yeah.
And then having the office space, having the studio where we can go and invite people to come in and, promote themselves or, whatever they want, because we have a lot of that too, where people send in music and come in and do interviews. We just actually had one Wednesday, a guy his name is Imagine 360. If I'm not mistaken, Imagine 360. And he just dropped the album called #El Presidente. And it's a hip hop album. And right now, hip hop is kind of garbage. Just gonna say it.
What, like mumble rap?
Yeah, that.
He said it.
Yeah, that right there, and the fact that every beat's a trap beat.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's really annoying. His stuff definitely good, and we had him in, and we played a couple of songs. He came in, did a little quick interview. So it's nice. It's just like things like that, and we're, like I said, we have potential opportunities to bring these things to events, and yeah.
Do you like Kendrick?
Yeah, Kendrick's good.
Okay, because that's new. That's like new
Yeah,
stuff.
Kendrick's good. J. Cole good. Because I've listened to a couple of their songs, and like it's not my full cup of tea, but I enjoy it a lot more than the other stuff. Because it's like they actually have lyrics. They have words that you're like, let me replay that because I want to hear what he just said.
Yeah.
Right.
Versus I got it. It's Gucci.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you make money, you fuck bitches. Yeah,
Right.
I get that.
Gucci.
Yeah.
Gucci.
Good for
I've
you.
seen that, like, legitimately there was a song, like, that's pretty much the whole song. The guy just pretty much saying Gucci the practical whole time of the song. And I'm
Well,
like,
there's that Hannah Montana song too, right?
yeah, and Pandas was another one.
Wait, just say Pandas the whole song?
Yeah, Pandas in Atlanta. And
Pandas in Atlanta?
Yeah, it was.
Wait, are you telling me the song just said that?
Well, a good chunk of it, yeah.
Oh my god.
Pandas in Atlanta.
Panda. It's really
in
bad.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's it's an awful song.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't
I'm gonna have to listen
to
to
the
that
radio
song.
at
I'm
all.
gonna have to listen to it.
And that wasn't me listening to radio. I just people around me,
Oh, they listen to that.
and they're like saying it and talking about it, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And then I look it up, and I'm
You're
like, oh
that's
god,
trash.
you guys are idiots.
What are you, trash? What are you, a trash man? What are you?
Like, it's like that moment you realize people around you are absolute idiots.
I think no, both of us actually, we had like a pretty in-depth conversation after our last blunt sessions with Kyle and Serge about that too. We were talking about
That is right.
we were just talking about just music that's popular now, and
Yeah.
like it's crazy. Like the public dictates what's popular. You know what I'm saying? So if even if the music is trash,
Yeah.
but if the artist somehow, I don't know, is entertaining, and people are like, I like watching it just because he's entertaining, not necessarily because the music is any good, like that happens. And
Yeah.
that's sad, but that's what happens.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And it's what's funny is actually at work a little while back I had a conversation with one of my coworkers, and it was I honestly don't know what song it was, but it definitely was it was really bad lyrics. It was just like I'm just sitting here like this is trash, and one of the coworker was like, oh, I love this song, and I'm like, are you serious? Why? Like why
Bo,
do you like this?
Is it the song where the girl is squeaking at you?
There's a lot of those. I'm thinking it's Banana Hats. There's it's called Havana Nights or Havana, I think. And the girl talks about being like something her love is in Havana or some shit. But I couldn't really make out the lyrics, so I turned it into Banana Hats.
Right.
And
Might as well be.
right. And a couple of the coworkers, one in specific, was saying, oh, it's a good song, and I was like, hey, do you hear what she's singing about nothing? Like, this is awful. It's just like, but I don't really care. I just like the way it sounds, and I'm like, that's really bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I can understand if there was no lyrics. Sure, then that's what we're made the song for. But
Yeah.
you made the song with lyrics to have a whole song, right? That's the whole thing, not
The
just
thing
half
is,
of it.
And I'm about to say something really mean, but it's like it's the whole thing with like dance music. Mm-hmm. They take a sample. They like the way that sounds. That's it. It's not about what that person is saying. So when you listen to dance music, it's why you get that whole like where they say a phrase over and over again.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
And then that's it because it just sounds good and it would sound nice over this beat. And I guess that's one way to listen to music. That's all. That's it. That's one way to listen to music. I guess.
To each their own. I'm not hating on people that enjoy that stuff, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. Like it kills me because I'm used to songs actually having a purpose besides just nothing.
It sounds so like I'm not trying to hate on people that don't, but I listen to good music. That's basically how that sounds.
I listen to the
you
people
guys just
that
listen
talk
to
about
trash,
something.
that's all I mean.
Yeah.
Like if I and I'm not like pigeonholing like dance music into that category because that's dance music. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you're there.
That's the purpose of it.
That's your purpose. I
Yeah.
get it if you really don't have lyrics or if your lyrics are repeated. That's your thing. That's your thing. But a good example is the mumble rap. A lot of it was one unintelligible, but two, it's a lot of repeated of the same bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, yo, really? Like you can't really dance to this, and on top of it, you ain't talking about anything. And honestly, your beat sounds like the past 5 songs I've heard. Like there was one time I was at I think it was a barber shop and I was getting my hair did, and I was getting my hair did, right? I was getting my ears lowered, I was getting my hair cut. And my barber who has gone to get his own shop, he legitimately had me sitting there and he was in there, he's like, yo, I'm gonna be out this big in a month.
Oh, because he was a mumble rapper?
Well, he wanted to be low key about it. So he was like, hey, just so you know, I'm I'm probably going to be out of here in like a month. And I was like, oh, that's good because I can't tolerate this shit. And he starts laughing. I was like, dude, seriously, like this music. And they had it on BET at the time, right? And so we're sitting there, me and him just kind of shooting the breeze, whatever, talking. And I'm unintentionally trying not to hear this music. Yeah. So I'm trying to really have this conversation with him. And then a few moments go by. I want to say maybe 10, 15 minutes go by. And I swear to God, I thought it was the same song playing the whole time. But it was like 3 or 4 different songs that played. But the beat sound pretty much the same.
That's really bad.
Throughout like 4 songs, and these are all 4 different artists. And I'm like, are you serious right now? This is okay? Like, who let this say this is okay?
But
that's bad.
That's what happens with, unfortunately, with like all music. Because like country, for example, country pop, like you've seen that video on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like they grab, I think, like 4 different artists in one song, and it's literally the same exact. It's in the same key. Mm-hmm. It's the same chord progression, and it's just all. The only thing that's a little different is like the melody, a little bit, but literally it could all be one song.
Exactly.
And it's just like everyone's. The idea is that. And I wonder if now it's getting worse because it all goes back to what the mass of people decide to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, and it's all slightly corporate too, in the sense of what we're going to be like pushing.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like a good example is a few years back when Two Thrones, or what? No, not Two Thrones. Watch the Thrones. Jay-Z and Kanye.
Two Thrones.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings. But Kanye and Jay-Z got together and did Watch the Throne, right? It was a 2-disc set album thing. And it was a big deal, right?
I never listened to it.
Well, exactly. Because it wasn't that great, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, there were some decent tracks off it, no lie. Like, I don't like Kanye like that, and it has nothing to do with his views on anything, just musically speaking. Yeah. His production is always dope. He's an amazing producer. I just don't like his rap too much. He's not my cup of tea, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying he's awful, but I would check out other rappers before him.
Yeah, right? It's like saying mumble rapper Kanye. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and listen to something.
I would listen to Kanye over what's going on now in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So he did the album with Jay-Z to Watch the Throne, right? Thing is, Eminem and Royce da 5'9" also had an album dropping at the same time, and it was Bad Meets Evil 2. And that album, that shit had like I think 11 tracks at most, maybe 12. I'm not sure, but it was legit not that many compared to Watch the Throne, which was 2 discs, right? Every song on that album fucking blew it up. Like
the 11 tracks.
All of them. All of them. There was legitimately not a song on there that I was like, this is awful. Like, just a golden-ass album.
Really?
And the thing is, what was pushed, what was commercialized, what was sold was Watch the Throne. And that album, and I'm pretty sure probably selling a lot more than Bad Meets Evil. Maybe it's caught up, possibly. I don't know. I haven't looked at numbers like that, but I know at that time.
But that's an interesting point you bring up.
And that's what it is. It's the corporate is like, well, Jay-Z hot right now.
Yeah.
Let's sell
Kanye
him.
hot right now. How are we gonna get this money? Let's push this versus pushing this album, which was that's all you heard about at the time. You didn't even know, like, not most people didn't even know that shit was coming out. That Eminem and Royce da 5'9" had that album coming out. Not a lot of people really knew.
I never heard about it.
Yeah, because everybody always remembers the first one, the first Bad Meets Evil with those two. Like, a lot of people know about that shit.
Yeah.
But they didn't know there was a sequel. And that sequel is fire. Like, that shit is legitimately one of the best hip-hop albums I've heard, like, at that time. Like, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And it sucked because I felt like they did not get the recognition they deserved for that album. Because there's just so many songs on there that you're just sitting here like, did you hear what he just said? You got to play that song again. Listen to what he says here. Like, there are so many times that on both of them, Royce and Eminem, that there's so many times you're just like, holy shit, did he just, what? Excuse me? How did, you just said, what? And, like, you got to rewind that shit. And I love that. That's the type of hip-hop I love, where I got to rewind it and be like, did he? I'm pretty sure I heard what he said, but I got to make sure I heard that right, because that was sick as fuck. Like, that had blew my mind right there. You know, like, on the first track, Eminem actually gets to a point where he pretty much metaphors Bruce Willis and David Carradine to get to his final point. like on that whole verse, like, and it killed me because I was like, yo,
that's funny.
Like because the punchline was pretty much that he dies hard, and it killed me. it legitimately, I was, because if you're not paying attention, you're not gonna catch it.
You don't get it.
But like he legitimately, like he said, he's like Bruce Willis, he's like David Carradine, jacking his penis in front of a tripod, and then he's like, "What don't you get? I'm saying I die hard." I was like, "Yo, fucking brilliant!" It's funny, but it's also amazingly clever.
I read a very interesting article on Eminem and why his music sucks now.
Yeah.
And basically, the point of the article is that everything that's kind of sort of happening now, like people trying to mimic or people trying to be sarcastic now in these raps, or just the style of rap that's coming out now that's a joke, he already did.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's so now, especially people in our age, we're looking at that and we're going, bro, done. It's been done. Your dick falling off because you got an STD. Great.
Yeah.
Done. I
Right.
already listened to that like eons ago, and it was way better than what the fuck you just did.
Yeah.
Because Eminem was just fucking fantastic,
Yeah.
and he was just brutal. He was just brutal.
Yeah. And I mean, and honestly, some of the production on his most recent album was just kind of, it wasn't as good as as it
which
has
one
been.
was his most recent?
Recovery?
No, not Recovery. No. He just dropped one a couple months ago, actually.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
He's still going. He's still going, man. He's still going.
It had a track with Beyonce, and that's the one that they pushed or whatever.
The thing is
Obviously.
Man, when did you think that was ever gonna happen? The way he was back
never.
in the day? Never.
He must have, I don't know who the fuck is producing his beats anymore, but whoever that is, I don't really care for it. And then also he's just singing like way too much, man.
Yeah.
And he's doing like, it's not like Kim where he sings in Kim and it sounds shitty, but it's good.
Right.
It's like a good
It's like he's trying to sound good now.
And that was the tone of the song, though. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly,
The
yeah.
whole song
It
was like
worked.
a weird
Yeah.
minor
Oh, yeah.
thing. It was just.
I mean, a beautiful example of that is what's his name from Modest Mouse, the singer.
Oh,
Isaac.
Isaac.
Yes.
Isaac Brock. Yeah.
Brock, the way he uses his voice as an instrument versus to actually sing
Yeah.
is amazing.
We just listened to Dirty Fingernails. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he sounds so terrible in that song. I love it.
Exactly. And that's the
love
thing.
it.
It's like, honestly, it's like a drunk dude yelling at you, but you're okay with it.
I don't mind, dude.
Right? Like, you got a decent tone, and the what you're saying and how you're using your voice to express it. Because it reminds me of almost if somebody, I know this is a far stretch, but if somebody almost translated scatting into verbiage, into actual words.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine Brock is, because he uses his voice more as an instrument than to actually sing.
Yeah.
The way
It's just weird. It's not him
very
singing.
raspy, and how he kind of sings from his like throat almost. Like it's funny that like I am not like a musician, but I can pick these things out. And I noticed that with him, like the way he does that. It's a tool. It's not an expression of my voice. It's not me singing. I'm using this as a tool, as an instrument.
Yeah.
I literally want to sound like this, and I'm doing it.
Exactly.
It's like an expression of the I guess the style that he's going for in music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, he's sometimes in the way, like the sitting on the dock of the bay. Damn it! What is his name? I can't think of his name right now.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Sitting on the dock of the bay. Remember that? Y'all know that song?
Nick Cave.
No, the Bay. It's an old song. It's like I want to say maybe 50s, 60s or some shit.
Am I gonna have to Google this?
Sitting at the dock of the bay. Yes.
Sitting.
It's not like the Doors or anything.
No. It's just a real mellow, like bluesy.
This is like a famous person I should know.
Yeah. He's pretty famous. Him and
it's not Johnny Cash, is it?
I think it's the same guy, but the I see skies blue.
Oh,
Otis Redding.
Yes, Otis Redding.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
I think he did both of those. But Otis Redding, the way he sings, it reminds me of Brock. Brock reminds me of Otis Redding in that sense because
That's funny because Otis Redding is like a really like someone playing a trumpet.
Yeah.
But almost really poorly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what Brock is kind of like to me. You know, they
But like
have
a
that.
screaming like guitar
Dude,
or some shit
when
like
he's on
that.
songs with horns, I think is when he sounds the best.
Yeah.
And that's saying
Yeah.
something. Like they did. I just saw them on 420.
Yeah.
And they did Devil's Workday.
Okay.
Oh my God! They had one horn and him, Brock wailing, and it just sounded. I was like, "This is fine." Because it's not recorded that way. That's not how I'm used to listening to it. That was fantastic. I was like,
and
Brock sounds so good.
That's how I see Spit and Venom.
Yeah.
That song, like
That's a
I
good
feel
one.
like it's one of their great songs in my opinion. One, because it goes through different like songs.
Yeah.
Like it's like almost 4 different songs in
Yeah, like
one song.
Yep. Yeah.
And
We
it
were
is like a-
sitting there.
Yo,
That
like
does not sound like the
I
end of that
song. Love how some artists will do songs like that where it's like 3 or 4 different styles of
Yeah.
a song in one song.
That's so cool, man.
It makes me like appreciate how talented they are.
That's fucking dope.
Exactly,
You don't hear
exactly.
that very
no,
often
you don't,
now.
because
Like,
it's
that's
a
super
risky
cool.
move. Because it can sound shitty as
Yeah.
hell. Like you
Yeah.
can do that.
If you're
and
not good at one of the genres that
Yeah.
you chose. You're
exactly.
It's got to flow well.
Yeah,
It's
the
gotta flow
pacing
well.
and how you can legitimately change your timing mid-song, like whether it's through a solo or a break, like you legitimately manage to change the timing and make it flow well. It blows my mind. And Spitting Venom is an absolute perfect representation of that.
That's cool, man. That actually like makes me smile, or like for real, because it's like that's dope.
Yeah,
Because like I not that I knew that you like them.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like the fact that you say that, because that's like literally why I listen to music. Is like
Yeah.
I love bands that do shit like that.
complexity is some of the things that are taken away from a lot of the new shit.
Yes.
Like, don't get me wrong. Some of the lot of new rock is okay. I can appreciate it. I like it. I see what they're doing, and it's definitely a little more different than, honestly, hip-hop. Like, right now, I will say rock is in a better position than hip-hop is.
Really? That's
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
just because of the
In a better
the,
position
like
overall.
the popular stuff.
Yeah,
What?
and the 90s, rock was solid with their position. I mean,
Yeah.
they had the grunge was, destroying everything, and then they had the poppy rock and everything. But hip-hop in the 90s,
Yep.
honestly, overshadowed rock by leaps and bounds.
I think 90s, and I grew up with a sister who liked the rock, so I know all of those.
right.
But that hip hop was
Oh, yeah.
where
That's-
every time someone addresses hip hop, they go back there and they don't
Yeah,
even realize
90s
it.
is one of the golden eras. Honestly, I mean that's when you got a lot of the Biggie, the Tupac,
Yeah.
towards the end.
Outcast.
Exactly.
Bone.
Yes, exactly.
Come on now.
Exactly.
Come on.
You guys should
know?
have seen Beau's face. He said, "Yes, Bone."
Like
yes.
that was and that was like the golden era of hip hop. And then like rock, you had some solid 90s, like you had Pearl Jam,
but you had really terrible
Nirvana,
rock, too, though.
But then you also had some really terrible bands that came out.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't. I'm enjoying the fact that what I have right now with rock from like I want to say 2000s early to now has been a big step. You
Yeah.
know? I mean, stuff like the Black Keys, where they're able to go backwards and play stuff that sounds like it's from the 60s and 70s
Yeah.
and do it amazingly well and still bring it to now.
Do you like their new stuff?
Yeah.
You do for real?
I do like their new stuff. It's pretty good.
I don't like it.
It's not their other albums for sure.
It's not Brothers. Brothers is amazing.
Brothers is, in my
God,
opinion,
that album
probably
is
their
so
best
good.
album.
Attack and Release, amazing.
Yes,
I love
Attack
that
and Release
album.
was an epic album, but I'm gonna say Brothers is probably
That's
the
your
best.
favorite?
That's my favorite one.
Good
Dude,
album.
fucking.
I just the time traveling on that album is
Yeah.
amazing.
You know what was it? I think it was my hand to God.
Oh, that's the last song. That's These Days. That's on Brothers.
Dude,
that's the last track.
I heard that song on Pandora, and I was like, "What band is this?" Because I swear to God,
Yeah.
no joke, I thought it was an old black lady singing that song. I'm not even joking.
Bruh, like that's what my dad did. Like one time I was driving with him, I took over the stereo in the car,
And you
I
played that shit?
and I played that, and he was like, "Do I have this?" And I was just like, "Nah, this came out legitimately because at the time it came out the year prior."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This came out just last year."
And that shit sounds like
Yeah.
like 60s.
song
It
is
sounds
so-
like it was
Yeah.
recorded in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
That
which
song
all-
is so
which
beautiful.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I go
fucking
back
love
to
that
that
song.
one all the time. Like there's a lot of times like on that drive in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
Oh
that's the
my
perfect
God.
time to listen to it, man. Yes.
It's
That's awesome. That's so cool.
I love that album in general, though.
Dude,
That
I'm gonna have to send you like shit that I listen to, like, because if you say that, that means that you kind of think like me, where you enjoy music during like the settings that sound right to it. You know?
I can tell you right now,
yeah.
if you have Spotify, you just find me on Spotify. My playlist that I have, my main one, I call it Work Spotify because it's pretty much if I have it able to listen to at work, that's the one I go to. And that one, I have 670 songs on there, so 675 around there, of just different shit. Like, there's a couple of troll songs in there that I have just for laughs, and that, like, for instance, Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up. That's in there. That's fucking in there.
That's funny.
Because, I mean, it's fucking Rick Astley.
Yeah.
Like, I have little songs like that, but I have some little sleepers in there that you wouldn't know where it came from unless you actually looked it up. Like, in the sense of, like, you would think it's like a normal song, like, just kind of maybe from, like, an album or a movie or some shit. But it's really, like, there's a couple, the ones that really kind of, like, surprise you are from video games. Like, I have a couple of singles from video games in there that you would think maybe came from, like, an album from somebody.
Dude.
And it's amazing because the ones that I'm referencing itself, actually, when they drop the game, they drop the soundtrack from it separately as well as an album.
Nice.
And it is amazing.
So
it is absolutely amazing.
Silent Hill, I think 2, or no, the HD HD collection that I have. I think it has 1, 2, and 3 on it, but it's not. For some reason, it's not working on one of my PS.
Really annoying because he hadn't beat it, and I wanted him to see it.
Yeah, I beat. I didn't beat 2.
I'm really mad.
Did I not beat 2? I
I
thought I
was really
beat.
invested in that story.
Yeah, but like
you get it? I was all into it.
The menu theme song, like I was like,
Oh, he really likes that song.
I was like, oh, I need to figure out what song that is, and I did. I don't remember it now. It's been a while, but like it just sounded fucking tight, and I was just like, this is like perfect for this game, you know? Like,
A good point to this is we ended up watching Stranger Things. We probably would have ended up watching it anyways, but we ended up watching it because, you know, when Netflix does that thing on the top where the first thing starts playing, it was that.
It was the trailer.
The trailer.
Before it came out.
And the song came
80
on.
cents.
And he just went, what is that? We watched the trailer and then we just looked at each other and we said, yes.
Dude, I was like, Ellie, listen to this. Like, literally, because I was just like in love with just like the song. Like, I didn't even care if the show was shitty or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I was just
listen
like,
to this.
I love the synth stuff. So I was like, Ellie, check this shit out. And it was just like, bum, 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 bum. I was just like, oh my god,
I gave him that
fucking
stank
loved it.
face.
I was like, this shit. I was like, this shit looks like it's like Stranger Things was like Star Wars mixed in with like Indiana Jones and like the Goonies, like all that,
definitely.
E.T.,
And
like,
you know,
all that
it's
shit together.
actually funny.
The X-Files.
Yes, the X-Files. Yeah, Silent Hill as well.
Oh, yeah.
With the under or whatever they call it, the
Upside
down
Down.
world.
Upside
Yeah,
Down.
Oh,
totally.
man.
Silent
Like, and you
Hill.
know what's funny is when I had first initially saw the trailer, what caught me was the music, but because of how 80s it sounds.
Yeah.
Like, because again,
It sounded like a fucking video game.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, I grew up in that era, like, towards the end of it, like, and, you know, I can remember a lot of that stuff, like, growing up, and when I saw it first, like, how, like, they kind of, the trailer was, you know, the synths, it hit me, I was like, yo, this sounds like some 80s shit, and then when the actual title crawl came on, I was just like,
It looked old.
Yeah.
oh my god, this is like 80s. I was like, are they really doing this right now? And then the show started and it was set in the 80s. I was like, holy shit, they are really doing this as a full-blown like 80s throwback.
Yeah.
And it's perfect.
Have you seen Danger 5?
Danger 5. No.
Oh my god.
We're going to have to watch an episode.
We need to watch that, dude.
Danger 5.
Danger 5
You
is
would love
like
it.
a satire of early 60s, like
With the guy with
like
the eagle
spy.
head.
Yeah. I've been meaning to watch that,
Dude,
actually.
it's so good. So they
Yeah.
go through, like, the first season is, like, the 60s.
Yeah.
And then the second season is, like, the 80s.
Oh,
and this
nice.
is before Stranger Things came out. So I
Right.
was already getting into, like, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Turbo Kid?
Yes.
Dude,
Turbo Kid
Turbo
was
Kid's awesome.
a fucking great, great film.
Fucking awesome.
Very sleeper film, actually, because not a lot of people like sat down like, what the fuck is this? Let me watch this. And I was like, yo, is that one of those like 80s throwback type movies? Sure enough, like it was cheesy in the right ways.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
And that's the most beauty when people do that.
When you realize what year Danger 5 came out in, and you
Yeah.
realize how it looks, you're like, how did they even do that? How
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
they get
Yeah.
it to look that way?
Yo.
Because that's exactly how things like
I
that
legit
back
messaged
then
like
looked.
their page and
They
actually got a
answered.
response from the guy that plays the American. in
Yeah,
the
the
show.
American, the
Yeah,
American.
yeah.
I
It was
didn't remember
fucking
how to
awesome.
describe him, but that's right. He's
They're
the
all
only
they're
one.
all Australian, all of them.
Oh, really?
Even
yeah,
him?
yeah.
That's
all of
funny.
them are all Australian. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
He's doing like that fucking. He's making fun of like Americans.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
gotta get my cigarette. Like the
Yeah,
way
yeah,
he was doing that
exactly.
shit.
You know, you
fucking
can't
perfect.
offer that guy a clear drink, like
Yeah.
a clear alcoholic. He'll like slap it out of your hand and grab a whiskey. You know what I mean? Like he's that typical like guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
Dude, it's fucking. It's a great show, man.
Yeah,
Like,
but you know, and it's funny because you know, like I was saying, like with my list, there's this one song on there actually that came from. There's a game that I play every so often called League of Legends. It's a PC game.
my little brother loves that game.
Yeah, it's a fun competitive like player versus player game, and I like it. I like the way it plays. I had to play it for a while, but they ended up like as the game developed, it became more than what it was. Like they started expanding on things, their characters, their stories, all that shit, the lore and everything, and to the point where they started like, because again, it's a game that's free, so how do you make money off of that? You're giving these people a good product actually, and how do you make money so that the characters have skins, things like that,
You pay for it.
yeah, and it's nothing to boost your character, it's just so he looks different,
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
cool, But then they started like getting more like, how do we do this? So eventually, they started getting like more in depth with their characters to the point where they would release a new story portion of it and drop some characters that have songs that they made based off of their characters. And there's this one character, and his name is Amumu. Okay.
Mumu?
Amumu.
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 Is he African?
A-M-U-M-U. He's a little mummy.
Okay.
He's a little
okay.
mummy.
Yeah, so he is African.
I guess,
Yeah,
I guess
Egyptian,
Egyptian,
yeah,
African,
African, yeah.
He's a little mummy, but he can't have friends. He's a very sad little kid. He's like the whole thing is he's a very sad, depressed mummy because he wants to have friends, but he can't.
Is the song like all around me are familiar faces?
Basically.
It's kind of like that, actually.
Is it really?
It is. It really is. It's kind of like that. But honestly, it's a really good fucking song.
It's a real song too.
And it's a legit song. Like this guy, like saw this character, was like, I'm gonna write this song. I'm gonna make people feel for this character.
fuck.
And it's a video game character. Mind you, this is not a story game. This is
Yeah.
not something that you play from beginning to end. This is legitimately you go to play against other players for like 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And it's a fun.
Someone wrote a song to that.
And legitimately took this character's theme, his idea. Like his skins, to give you an example, there's one where it's called Emumu, where he's got an emo outfit on, his
hilarious,
hair
dude.
slicked down.
Oh my God.
Then there's another one where it's called Re-Gifted Amumu, where he's a gift that somebody gave back.
Oh.
Like it's
That's
little things like
hysterical.
it's like kind of sad. And one of his moves is you hit the button and he turns on this aura, and he's crying. And it's his tears, and it does damage to people and shit.
Oh my God,
yeah,
dude.
And it's crazy. And then his ultimate ability is called Wicked Tantrum, where he like bursts out and stuns everybody around him. Like he's a neat little character, and like this song makes you feel so bad for him, dude.
He's actually so sad.
It really is. And the thing is, there's a part in the song where it's almost a little bit of a break, but then it builds up. And when he hits this part where he's basically talking about the ultimate ability almost, he's talking about it, and he's basically saying how it's a wicked tantrum that he couldn't control. And then the song hits, and the guy is like singing and hitting this note, and you legitimately get chills listening to this. And
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
the first time I listened to it, I got chills when it hit that part, and I was just like, yo,
This is weird.
this is
yeah.
I was really weirded out.
Yeah.
I was super weirded out. I was like, because this is a video game that legitimately, again, does not have an actual story that you're playing for.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to know about the story, you have to actually research, like go to their website,
Yeah.
read the character, what they're about, and everything.
It'd be like
it's not like Final Fantasy or something or Zelda,
Yes.
where there's a story that you're
Yeah.
playing through. Like
It-
this is just a fun sport esport game.
Yeah, it would be comparison would be like playing zombies, like Call of Duty Zombies Online, and like one of the characters having like an emotional song. You
right,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
You would be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You know, it's crazy, and the thing is, they have other songs too about some of their other characters, but like the fact is, like somebody can sit there and do that and actually make you actually feel a little bit like, damn, like wow, that shit really hit me. Like, that way you sang that shit and how kind of sad that shit was.
I'm sad now.
I am. I was a little sad. I was like, damn, poor little Moo-Moo. No friends. And yeah, exactly. It's great. And like there was a prom one too, a prom skin where he can get to go to prom, but
Jesus Christ, bro.
Like, that's the thing because all their characters have personalities. Each character there's like 100 and some different characters, and they all have personalities and abilities and specialities and shit. Like it's pretty crazy. Like, and there's this other one, this little guy. He's his name is Nar. And he looks kind of like almost like a Mogwai from Gremlins. Like, you've seen Gremlins, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Gizmo?
Right.
He kind of looks like him a little bit. Oh. And he's like this, almost like a little prehistoric little, cute little thing. But his special thing is he rages out. Like, he gets to a certain point and he turns into this big hulking monster like the Hulk, basically.
Oh, okay.
And, like, but his little character, he's just a fucking adorable. And, like, I sit here and I look at this and I'm like, these guys really took this time to make this one guy.
Yeah.
And his personality is so different from the other 100 and something that they made. Like, it blows my mind. And they take that and they take certain characters like that and they make music to these characters, which that doesn't get enough credit in my opinion. People who make music for video games, in my opinion, don't get a lot of credit like they should.
No, they don't. I mean, because no one... Yeah, I feel like the only person that really gets credit is, like, the game developer. Like, for example, like Metal Gear, like, you think of Hideo Kojima. You don't think of anyone else in that.
The thing is that it's like, I think people don't realize that your heart is racing. And your heart is racing, sure, because you're running through this game, but sure enough, if I muted that game, your heart probably wouldn't be racing as hard like as it is if it's the music. It's making you really, really like feel like you got to go. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like it was playing this Rayman game.
Yes,
the music in that is great.
The music in that is so good, and it's just like you're going. You're like, okay, I'm following this song now, and it's like it gets you really involved in stuff like that. And I mean, I would have to agree, man. It's like they're sitting there and going, I'm supposed to make them feel like what?
Yeah.
Make them feel sad, happy. Like they have to go fast. And it's like, okay, I can do that. And it's perfect. It really ties the game together.
I definitely, and it's funny because, there's a lot of people that you could sit there and, they can tell you where a song comes from. But they wouldn't be able to tell you who actually made it, though. They'll just say, oh, that's from Mario, or oh, that's from Zelda, or some shit like that. But they, and I honestly couldn't. I know I can't, and I feel bad for it. But, I mean, I still appreciate it for what it is at the same time.
There's nowhere that little song could play you and be like, oh, yeah, Mario, right?
Right, exactly. And everybody knows Mario's song. Like, the moment that shit comes out, everybody's like, oh, I know.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And that's worldwide.
And it's upsetting sometimes because they don't get that credit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just, oh well, and everything even with the production group, the main person may get the credit versus, the team that they had, or even hell, they sometimes get lost in that translation too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, oh, Nintendo. Nintendo did good there. No, it wasn't just Nintendo, actually. There's a lot of groups that go involved into making shit,
People,
but yeah.
Yeah, if people paid attention to credits, they would get that. Mm-hmm. I mean, even movies are broken up into teams and things that people are going to do and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. It's the unsung heroes that get the job done. And that they make the magic happen, I mean, not to take anything away from the other people, but I mean, there's definitely those moments where you're like, well, damn, I really love that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, and, and I love it when a company does that, where they're like, hey, we're going to sell the game, but you can also buy the soundtrack separately if you want. Like, that's the faith they have in their team to do that. Like, we could probably make some money just by selling this shit too.
Because it sounds so good.
And there are a couple of cases like that, where I was surprised. I was just like, yo, I would actually buy that if it wasn't on Spotify. Just make it and I'll put it on my playlist.
Yeah, that's they have, I think, they have all the songs from the Silent Hill series on YouTube, for example. You can just listen to it. Even just the stuff that you would hear in certain levels and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, there's one in particular that I recommend if you have Spotify, check it out. Bastion. Bastion. That's the name of the game itself. The soundtrack from that it's fucking amazing. I mean, even just the songs that go towards the levels of the game are something you can just kind of put on in the background, and just kind of vibe to. The style is. Imagine a jazzy country, a bluesy jazzy
that's
country.
Weird. Yeah, that's a weird combo.
Because the game itself is an amazing game. It's absolutely it's in my top 10 for sure. Just because of story, how they tell it, the artwork, the presentation, the gameplay, it's all on point. And then the music, it's the cherry on top.
Right.
The narration, mind you, now is almost like an older dude. Well, basically he's when you're playing, he's narrating what you're doing.
Okay.
So as you're playing, the world's kind of coming up under you as you're playing. It's actually you're almost quote unquote creating the world or discovering it again, and it's coming up under you. And imagine a Zelda but cocked over to a diagonal view, like the older Zeldas. Mm-hmm. And it's overview, and it's an action game. You roll over,
It's is that considered? That's not. Is that third person?
Yeah, I guess.
Right?
I mean, well, they call it top down, that's the term. Top
Would it be
down.
Super Mario, kind of Super Mario 64 ish?
No, it would be if you ever heard of Diablo. I don't know if you ever played Diablo.
No, never. Is it the first? The Metal Gear Solid for the PS1 kind of.
Imagine that, but not having to be able to turn the camera and shit. Just having an angle. You said your brother, I think it was, that plays League of Legends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you actually seen it?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that almost, but it's just more tilted a little bit.
Okay, gotcha.
So our 3D models and shit. But the thing is, it's the artwork. It looks like, I think it was all hand drawn. I'm not 100% sure on that. But definitely close to hand drawn, and the way it just, you're walking and it comes up.
Oh, that's cool.
It's dope. The music's playing, and then you got the guy, and basically it's funny because I didn't know he legitimately narrated what you did. Thought he was just there to tell me the story while I play through the game. No, you can fall off the stage, and he would be like, "The boy is clumsy." Yeah, because he refers to you as the boy. And he's like, the boy sure did like to make a ruckus. As you're walking around, breaking shit.
That's so weird.
He's he's a very destructive kid, but he's a good kid. And it kind of like that. So almost like an older country-ish, cool, dude you sit at the bar. You know what I'm saying?
Funny.
Like Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, kind of like that a little bit. And that's the thing. He's narrating everything you do, right? And he's telling you a story, and and it's dope as shit. And then you have the music playing, and it all just works so well together. And
it's almost like watching a movie while you're playing it.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't, honestly, when I saw the reviews and my friend told me about it, he's like, yo, I think you probably really will get into this. And I was like, all right. I beat that shit within the day I got it to the next day. I beat it over the weekend.
Oh, shit.
I dropped 10 hours straight almost. Well, not straight, but over a weekend. I dropped 10 hours easily in that game.
That's crazy.
Because it was just that good. The music, the gameplay, the story, everything about it, I was in love with.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is it? What can you play that on?
Everything.
Really? Bastion.
Yeah, Bastion.
We should
Yeah,
you could probably get it for $5 or $10 on the PlayStation Store.
You're right.
Oh, shit.
That's freaking dope.
You could probably get it for $5 or $10. And because it's old now, but it's fucking great.
That's so cool.
That, and they made another one. Which is a little more intricate in the gameplay, but the same feeling, story, the music. And it was that one's called Transistor, And that one is a totally, like, it's crazy because when I heard they were making another game, I was like, oh, I want to know what this is. And when they said, oh, and they're dropping another, soundtrack with it, which they had the same chick that sang on the first game, Bastion, which there's two or three tracks where she sings. This girl, her name's Ashley Barrett. I had to look her up because
It was so good.
yeah, her voice, like, it hit me. I was like, yo, this chick has a nice voice. I really like how she sounds on this shit. And, the song she does is kind of almost a folky type song. It's almost like, I hate to say it, but back in the day during the plantations and shit, the hymns they would sing.
Jesus.
Honestly.
But I totally know what you're saying.
But
though.
exactly, the sound of
Yeah, it's
that.
racist.
It's a little racist. But I mean, it's their sound.
No, I get
they
it. I get
developed
what you're
that,
saying.
that sound. She sings a kind of song,
It's a racist.
kind of like that you would almost see somebody out just kind of like working in general, like out like the
I see what
farm
you're
or some
saying.
shit, just kind of, and it's a real mellow, soft song, but like the way she sings it, and then they had her come back for their second game. And she sang on that one too, and there's a couple of songs on there, and it's just like, yo, these guys, this company, this group of people have amazing talent, and the way they tell their stories, the way they deliver it and provide it to you, it's amazing.
Is this an indie game?
Yeah, it's an indie company, and like both games, are indie, and both of them are great. Like, honestly, they're both awesome. The second one, the gameplay, once you get it, it's fucking brilliant. Like, it's a really smart way of how they did it. Like, it still kind of looks a little the same as the other one, but it's a little more futuristic. Like, they went from kind of a gritty, country, bluesy, cowboy type shit to a futuristic almost situation. And it's like, it's amazing how they presented it, and it's the same company. But the one thing that remained true is they use their music throughout the whole game to really get you in there, like suck you in.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Have you ever played like Fez or like I watched that documentary,
Yeah.
the indie game documentary?
That documentary is really
it's
really
cool.
good.
It's fucking awesome.
A very big eye opener.
I saw both the first one, which was before they came out with it, and then the second
Yeah.
one once they got like success. And it was interesting. I was like, I would totally be super interested in producing music for someone that, was making an indie game or something like that.
Oh yeah, and that's actually one of my goals, is to develop, be the story writer, basically. Well, I have a project that I want to get developed, that I have a script for, about, I want to say 25% done, maybe 30. The script itself, the game itself, I have the mechanics, everything I have the skeleton, basically.
Yeah.
The next step would be giving to somebody, say, okay, now I need you to program this, so I want it to be like this, because in my mind, I want to make an old school, like, Simpsons arcade, Ninja Turtles arcade type beat 'em up game.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I have that idea. I have that fleshed out. I have pretty much the script, like I said, about 30% through, and, that's one of my things I want to do. And actually, Kyle from work, Kyle Bartig, shout out to Kyle, dope artist, dope artist. He actually did a little guitar riff, or I wouldn't call it a full-fledged song, but he definitely put together a little something for one of the other projects. But he wanted to be a part of that too, part of the artwork. So that's a thing, and we could use music for it as well. So,
I mean, hey, I'm
there we go.
super interested in that, like, for real. I'll show, once we're done podcasting, I'll show you some of the new, I mean, I don't know if you'll like it. It's weird, but some of the new stuff I'm working on myself.
Yeah, well, this album now dropped recently is dope as shit. So, if there's anything like that, I mean, we're good. So,
It's kind of it's halfway like that.
The one thing I will say that I feel like I'd be really good at is if you give me like an idea for what you want, like I'll be really good at I guess like portraying that in the music. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
emulating it.
Like if you're like the theme is this, I'll be like, okay, this is my interpretation of that theme, and I'll get pretty because I'm not trying to boast. I'm just being honest.
He's boasting.
I'm good at like playing different styles of music. You know what I'm saying? So if like you, for example, like I wrote a song that was inspired by Metal Gear, the song Peace Walker. Yeah. Like I feel like that song emulates a Western, but it's just done in a really weird, like electronic trippy way. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's dope as shit. And that's kind of like, actually the game Bastion I mentioned, it's kind of like that where they blend, that kind of bluesy country vibe with, a little electronic,
Cool.
It's honestly I actually have told plenty of people like, yo, I know this may sound weird, but this is a dope ass album, and if you don't care about instrumentals and where this shit came from, just listen to it.
Yeah.
Because it's really that good. Like, especially the ones that do that the chick, the two songs that the chick does sing on, there are two different ones on there. They are really good.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I was like, this was from a video game? They did all
this shit's good on its own.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the same thing with the second one. The second game they put out, Transistor, was just as good. I actually have those songs in my just normal work playlist. Like my normal everyday driving around playlist, like those are in there. And
that's cool.
And, I'm okay with that. Like when that shit comes on, it's not like it's not like to me. It's not a guilty pleasure. It's not like It's not like Rick Astley.
Yeah. That's a funny song.
That's a guilty pleasure for me. Like I'll admit it. I'm not proud of it, but I'll admit it. Like I like this song. I don't care. Fuck you.
Did you ever,
don't judge me.
Right.
Well, I have two questions.
My Don't Judge Me song.
My Kendrick, don't judge me. I was...
Basically.
Have you ever played Limbo?
Yes, loved it.
Isn't that game awesome, man?
That is a testament to how you can make something so simple, but also complex. And also use just sound effects, really.
Yes, yeah.
Because the game didn't have too much music.
No, and it literally, I think there's only like 2 buttons.
Yeah, jump and climb, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
That was really about it. And that game, though, amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. How and also using lighting and the artwork. The lighting and how it was just absolutely amazing. The puzzles.
It's pretty much all black and white, except for like certain things I think are like red. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like only certain things were pretty much red, and the whole rest of it black and white, gray, and legitimately just puzzles. Yeah. And I love puzzle games. I do. Yeah. And that one, that was another I sat through throughout a weekend, like trying to beat that bitch because I was invested. I'm like, I don't know where this kid's going. I don't know where he came from, but I need to get him there. Yeah. I need
whatever it is that we need to do, let's do it.
No, exactly. Super dope game. My second question was, did you ever play Max Payne?
Yes. The original, the metaphors in that game. Oh my God.
Do you know, like,
oh my God.
The way that he wrote the I guess the narration for that game, I was like, this guy's a poet.
Yeah, well, it was a fucking comic. It was a noir comic, basically, which was the dopest shit 'cause at that time, and still nobody really does shit like that. And it blew my mind because it was so cheesy and corny, but it was still pretty good. It was really good. I got to give him credit, honestly, but it was still funny because you have those moments. He was like, the wind cut through me like a cold.
I love that. I loved that, though. It was so, like, it was... There was a line, I forget.
Daniel goes, this guy must have been a poet.
Yeah, was.
He was good.
That
guy wrote, like, the thing is,
his
like,
metaphors were on. He should have been a rapper.
The metaphors
he
were
could have
amazing.
been a mumble rapper.
There was one about, like, I forget it now, but I remember I wrote it down when I was a kid. It was something about, like something with angels in it. And I just remember thinking, like, I just burped.
Yeah.
I remember thinking... That is such a dope fucking line. Like his Yeah, it was just literally like the way that he would. Yeah, his metaphors for explaining a situation were just super fucking dope, man.
And that's the thing. We went on like when me and my brother first played this shit. My brother Serge, like for a while, we were like doing that shit out of nowhere, like randomly. I'm like, it's hot in here. Like, bowels of hell.
It's hotter. It's hotter than a prostitute in a church.
Right? Exactly. Like, and this guy would go into like, you know, the most deepest descriptions. It's ridiculous. You know, he would take something like that and just go. Like, I'm like, how? How are you doing this?
It seems like the way that the guy wrote it was he almost wrote the game like if it was a book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he just like the narration was just describing the scenario, although you could see it visibly.
Yeah.
You get like there was like literally no reason. Like for example, let's like a great example is like the intro of the game where you know you find the baby and the wife dead.
Yeah.
Like when you go into that room, for example, he's like the narration starts like you're playing the game and he'll be like, I saw my baby dead on the blood splattered on the bed. You're just like fucking
like, whoa, shit got real fast.
I got it, dude. I'm looking at
I
it
can
right
see
now.
This right now. Like you know,
look at that baby is so dead.
Yeah,
broken jar of jam all over the crib.
Gunshots, stab wounds everywhere.
There were like holes, black holes into space.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they reached out to
Dude,
entities.
that fucking the dream level in that game is the worst, dude.
Yo,
with the baby just crying in the background.
I was like,
my
I can't do this.
It was so nerve wracking, man.
Pause this.
I gotta take a break.
Damn.
I can't.
I died so many times.
Yeah. No, that one was a sleeper. I gotta say, like, cause people knew about it. But not a lot of people actually played it. Like,
no.
And that was like the one thing I will always take from that. That shit had the strongest metaphors. Like, this dude had paragraphs of one fucking thing. Like, just one thing, and he managed to stretch out a metaphor for that one thing.
Yes.
And I was like, yo, this dude, like, he's sat there. Like, and that game wasn't short.
No. That game is not short.
At all.
And it's not easy either.
No.
Like, especially if you play, like, on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
It's not an easy game, man.
And it had one of the I think it was actually the first time it had bullet time. Like,
yes.
which a lot of shooters kind of do.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them.
Now they do, yeah.
But it's a common thing now.
Yeah.
You know, and that shit was dope. Like,
that shit was super
love
dope.
that. Like
Yeah.
you kind of felt like a badass.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I'm like fly through the air. I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker over there, and I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker over there before I land. And then when I land, I'm taking cover. I'm reloading. You know, like,
and the controls were reversed. Remember that?
Yes.
It was inverted.
Yeah, which I'm okay with because I'm an inverter.
Oh, for real?
I'm an inverter.
wow.
Is that
Really?
I cannot.
Interesting.
I always play inverted.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
All my
wow.
shooters, any camera with the thumbsticks, a camera type situation. Yeah.
That shit fucked me up.
Inverted all the time.
I got used to it playing that game, but that shit fucked me up.
Halo, I think it was. No. Sorry. Either GoldenEye or Turok.
Oh,
One
probably
of the two.
GoldenEye, bro.
It's probably GoldenEye.
GoldenEye wasn't
'Cause
like that, was it?
Yeah, you could.
One
you
of
could
those,
make it like that.
was
You could make
forced
it like-
upon you at first, and I just
You could
learned
switch
like
it?
that. And I didn't know you could switch it, so I just learned it, and ever since then. But I find it easier for me for some reason. I don't know.
That's super strange.
It
yeah.
is. It is.
Well, no, because you got used to it is why.
Well, that too,
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like it's funny because with that, like I play Warframe right now, which is like I was telling y'all earlier, Robot Ninjas in Space, and it's free. Like, here's the thing: if you ever played Destiny, and you like Destiny at all, Warframe is that but better. Because here's the thing: Warframe came out before actually Destiny came out. So anybody who wants to try to fact check me. Warframe came out, I believe, in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, whereas Destiny came out in 2015 or some shit like that.
That's a significant amount of time.
Yeah, so they took the same general idea, but the thing is, this is robots in space, and it's free. I don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah.
And like I like when I started playing it, I got invested, and I was like, all right, I put a couple hours in. Let me see like how far I can go with this without actually having to pay any money. Pretty much everything. You don't have to pay for shit. If you do, it's just really to kind of speed up the process. You're not paying to get better than anybody. You're just paying so you don't have to wait 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever. Because you can make your own weapons. You can make your own actual... Because what it is the Warframe itself, it dictates like your abilities and shit. Like you get one at the beginning, and then that's how they make their money as well. Is instead of having to build it, you can just buy it out the store. But if you just play enough, you'll get parts to build the shit. You know, so it's pretty fucking dope. And there's like I think 30 something different ones, and they all have different abilities and shit. But my thing is like you have bullet time in that shit, and it is the dopest shit in the world. Cause like you're a fucking ninja. Keep that in mind, right? So you're fucking jumping up walls. You're
a ninja.
You're a ninja. You're jumping up walls, climbing walls, and you're able to shoot dudes in the middle of the air. So like I would just legitimately will jump off a wall and then go to bullet time and just nail dudes in the head as I'm flying over them. All graceful and shit.
Wait, so what are the graphics compared to? Like, is it like Assassin's Creed
PS4
style?
No, it's better. Well, yeah, it's better. It's better.
Really?
For sure. I would say it's better.
Assassin's Creed
because
is pretty-
Assassin's
It's a
Creed is
free
more
game?
of a realisticness where Warframe is more like Halo-ish in that sense. Like I want to say the style is kind of like Halo Destiny, the way it looks.
Okay.
Well, Gray Fox from Metal Gear.
Metal Gear, yeah.
That's a good example of how some of the Warframes look in the sense of like the visually, their style and shit. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
So if you ever want to be Gray Fox, Warframe is how to do
for
it.
all our Metal Gear fans.
Yeah. If you want ninjas in space, and the customization, because I'm a gamer, and customizations to me is always. It's not necessary, but when you do it,
Makes it better.
it makes the game even better.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I'll be able to make my dude's hair a certain color or a certain outfit dye it a certain color and shit like that. Warframe, you can pretty much dye everything. My ship is dyed. My robot itself is dyed. My weapons are dyed. I was like, yo, I can color everything? Shit, yeah. Spent the first like half hour just coloring all this shit. Like, not even lying. I'm like, all right, this is all I need. This way. Seriously, like, legit spent the first 30 minutes doing that shit.
Is it all Ohio colors?
No, I'm actually, fun fact, purple and green, like the Joker.
Nice.
Like the Joker.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So like my dude, he's dark purple and then like green trim and shit, like dark green trim on certain parts or whatever. So yeah, I love the way it looked. Like I love the way it came out. My ship is the same way. Like the walls are actually purple to green, the floor is green and shit. Like I went all out.
That's cool.
Like he is straight up Joker mobiled out.
Yeah.
Like he is a part of the Joker group. Like he is the Joker dude in space. He's the space division.
He's taking care of
exactly.
space stuff for the
That's
Joker.
cool.
But yeah, all honestly, like seriously, as for what it is and for it being free, it's amazing. Honestly,
That's cool.
I don't like shooters a lot. I really don't. They're not my go-to game. Like I like my more action RPGs, action games in general. Anything that has fun action combat shit like that, I like that shit.
Have you played the new Metal Gear? Phantom Pain?
I wanted to because I liked how they did it. They did the open world-ish kind of deal.
Yeah.
But still full on spy espionage shit. I love that. Like that reminded me, like honestly, like growing up, Tenchu. I don't know if you ever got to play Tenchu. Tenchu was a dope ass spy game, but it was ninjas, like actual old school ninjas, like feudal Japan type ninjas. So you had to legitimately like think. In the realm of it wasn't technological like fucking Metal Gear where you get cardboard boxes and the remote rockets and all that shit. Like this is like daggers and darts and shit, So like it was dope. Like anybody who's like a true gamer that grew up in that time, if they love shit like that, Tenchu was on that list. Tenchu was a dope because it was all about stealth kills. Like you would run behind a dude, slit his throat and shit. Like,
but how were the graphics? They're like old school, right?
Right, exactly. It was PlayStation. Like the series itself went on for a while, but I think eventually it just kind of died off. But I think it made it to PlayStation 2.
Okay.
I don't think
so. The graphics weren't like amazing.
They weren't the most like incredible, but definitely on PS2. I'm sure there was one or two of them on PS2, which were definitely good. But that was like legitimately, it was pure stealth game. Like it wasn't about running through and fucking dudes up. Like it was about being smart. Like if you kill this guy, you gotta move the body out the way, and stuff like that. Like Metal Gear.
Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Where
you can
like
play it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did look that up and saw you could kind of do it both ways.
Yes.
But the true way to do it was pure, full-on stealth. Like, don't get caught, don't leave trails, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, but then you can also just go in like a run and gun and just blow people up.
Yeah, you could only do that in Metal Gear. That started in like the fourth one. The third one,
Yeah.
the way I played the third one, unfortunately, was like I would put people to sleep and then kill them, and then just like hide their bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that was one in the jungle, right? That was
Yeah,
the snake eater one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So that one, like, I could have, like, I guess, like, the people who play that shit religiously, like, they'll just go through it without killing anybody. They'll just, you know, knock people out. But no, I'm just like, nah, fuck
Nah,
this
you
shit.
all gonna die.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too.
You're all gonna die.
Yeah, you're all gonna die. Like, and with Warframe, there's definitely a lot of that where you can do it all pretty stealthy, but then there's also the moments where the alarm goes off, and then you gotta kill
people.
a lot of people.
Yeah. I like a combo. I
Yeah,
don't
and
like
that's
a
what it
game.
is, yeah.
I don't like a game that's like just one thing. That's why like the Phantom Pain is like really cool because. Well, I mean, both that one and Guns of the Patriots they're both good.
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
But the
Sons
Phantom
of
Pain,
Patriots, I like that one.
yeah,
a
that
lot.
one's fucking.
Even
that
though
was
most of the time you were
intense.
playing as fucking Raiden, which was kind of whack, but honestly, Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, that's
no,
Sons of Liberty. You're
that
talking
is
about
the
Sons
second
of
one,
Liberty.
right?
Yeah.
Sons of Liberty. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you play
yeah.
as Raiden pretty much the whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Guns
whole
of the Patriots
Guns of the
is
Patriots
old.
was-
You're playing
okay.
with Old Snake.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But the second one was probably my favorite though. Only. I didn't like the Raiden part because I wanted to play as Snake. That was the whole purpose of me playing the
Yeah,
second
playing that
one.
game in general, yeah.
I want to fucking see what happened after the first Metal Gear on PlayStation. I was like, all right, but I was like, whatever, it's cool. The story though
Was
the
great.
story in
Yeah.
that one was too much for me in the sense of this is way too plausible.
Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit that killed me.
Are we talking
Because
about Sons of Liberty?
Yeah, Sons of
because
Liberty.
the shit
Yeah,
towards the end of it when they started revealing everything, I was like, yo, I heard about this type of shit actually happening.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy as fuck. Like, y'all know some shit that we don't know, that we know kind of know, but
Yeah.
you kind of telling us that, yeah, that's for real.
Yeah.
Like, it blew my mind. I was like, because my brother, he's real, like, Surge in general.
Yeah, conspiratorial.
I keep telling him he needs
Is
to
that
do
the right word?
he
Conspiracy.
needs to do an hour podcast called the Tinfoil Hat Diaries or something.
There is one already called that though.
Yeah, okay.
It's
so,
not the tinfoil. It's called the Tinfoil Podcast.
The
It's
Tinfoil
Sam,
Podcast?
Yeah, Sam
Okay.
Tripoli and Eddie Bravo. They're pretty famous dudes.
Okay,
Like
so-
Eddie Bravo is like a jujitsu master, and
Yeah.
Sam Tripoli is like he's a
Oh,
comedian.
and he believes that the Earth is flat.
I can't get him.
No, he
behind that.
doesn't. He doesn't believe that. He just
Eddie?
Eddie doesn't believe that.
I hope
It's
not.
true. That's true. That's
'Cause I
true.
can't get
no,
behind
no.
that. I
but
really
you know,
can't.
but you know what he said is that it's possible.
Yeah.
I can't,
that kills
I can't,
me.
I can't
That
get
kills
behind
me.
that because,
Yeah.
like, the thing is, somebody went off the edge of the earth a long time ago, bro.
Dude, I would love to like sit down and talk with Serge because a lot of the stuff that he's like, for example, like on the last podcast, like a lot of stuff that he was saying, I was just like, yeah, I've heard this before, but I've also heard the debunked, like what they use to debunk that. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like, when I played Sons of Liberty and I finished that, like, I was just like, yo, what the hell's going on here? Because these guys are talking about some really specific things here. And I was like, this shit is too close to home.
4.
Yeah.
Like they literally so 4 is almost like how would you call it? Like almost like a foretelling of what could happen in the future, which sounds like that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Where like there's chips in everybody,
Yeah.
and like the government control, or not but like the higher, like
Yeah.
kind of like the Illuminati
Basically,
would
the
control
government,
it,
yeah.
and then that literally the world is controlled by warfare.
Did
Yeah.
you
You know
hear
what I'm
that
saying?
there was this company in Wisconsin that was trying to chip all of their employees?
Well, it's
And some people were like, "Fuck no."
yeah. The moment it becomes a job thing, I'm fucked because I'm not doing that.
I'm
for
not
a
doing
job.
that.
I'm not
No,
doing that at all,
absolutely
period.
not.
Like,
It already
No.
exists, all that shit.
yeah, it exists. It's just certain places aren't doing it yet, but a lot of people are going to eventually do it.
It'd be crazy if like they already did it, and like we're all chipped
And we
already.
don't even fucking know.
We don't even know.
I don't know if we had the technology back in the 80s for me, so I'm good. 85,
Oh,
baby.
it would have to be done when you're young. Is
Yeah,
that what
They've
you mean?
had like the thing is like a huge thing is that like technology, like they've had like so much shit, but it
This
never
is true,
comes
too.
out into like the public. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like the military kind of keeps it like under wraps. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's totally a tinfoil like
Yeah, exactly.
conversation right there.
But, I mean, I'll tell you, honestly, I recommend it. By the way, I recommend Warframe. It's multiplayer as well. That's another thing about it. It's multiplayer, and it has multiple. Because you said you like to do a lot of different shit.
Yes.
So it's not just 1 or 2, 3 different missions. Like it's a bunch of different styles of shit.
Side shit.
Yeah, well, just not even side shit, but just different styles of missions you do. Like there's defense, there's you gotta break people out of prison and rescue them.
That's cool.
Hacking shit. You got survival missions where you just legitimate
just
survive, live. You know, there's other ones where you gotta hold points. There's just so much different shit.
That's cool.
And it's free.
Is it is it like an open? Is it a game?
It's well, I mean, technically it's kind of old, but it's
No. I was gonna say, is it do you play against other people? Like, is it like that's the or do you can play like almost like a story mode?
A lot of what most people do is just playing together, doing the missions and shit. Like
online though.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what
you
I'm
can.
wondering.
There's pretty much like Quest. There's a story and everything, but realistically, it's just shooter fun. You know. Playing through it, different missions with buddies, and then there is some player versus player stuff. I don't know how much of it, like in the sense of how active it is, because I haven't tried it because I don't want to get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Because I ain't played it that long, so I'm pretty sure since it's been out for years that there's plenty of dudes that would just waste me.
Yeah,
I'm cool
they're
on
just
that.
nasty at it.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
I like what I'm doing now. You know, it's fun.
I feel pretty positive.
Right, exactly. Pretty positive about what I do now in my life. I go to different planets.
I just
kill things. And,
Just focus on myself.
you know, I'm just working on me, making me a better me. You know,
just always working on bettering myself.
but yeah, you know, and the cool thing is like the weapons. You can make a lot of pretty much as far as I can see, you can almost make pretty much everything yourself for the most part. So, you know, if you see a sniper rifle, you're like, oh, I want that. And you can pretty much make it for yourself, you know, eventually down the road, you know. Or,
So, like, you just, like, find the parts.
yeah, you go through different missions, shit drops, you fucking get materials, you make the shit. It's pretty dope, I gotta say, for something that, again, is free.
Yeah.
You know, really the money that goes into it is to make things quicker for yourself. Instead of having to build that weapon, you can just buy it.
Yeah.
You know. But even that doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. It just means you have that weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you suck, you still suck.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way around that. You just suck.
Yeah, a comparison would be like having a dope-ass player in FIFA, but just not being good at playing at all.
Yeah.
Like, your team could be the all-star fucking team, and everybody's 99 overall rated, best stamina, all that shit, all you want. But if you don't know how to fucking play position or do anything...
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
You're gonna get wrecked.
Exactly. That's like fucking when I used to play Fight Night a lot. The Fight Night, the boxing game.
Okay, yeah.
I used to play that shit a lot. That's like having a Ali and just you don't do shit. You don't know what you're doing. You're gonna get knocked out. Like it doesn't matter if you're Ali, bitch. I get George Foreman and knock you out. Like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I never played that game.
There was 3 is when they had the old school boxers like Ali, George Foreman, Tyson, or was that 4? I think it was 4. But they had fucking Tyson
cool.
was. It was funny because the way they made the players, the characters, the boxers, they were true to their real selves.
Yeah.
Like Tyson, if you got him past the 3rd, 4th round, he was a lot easier to deal with. But in that first, like the first or the 4th round, he's a beast. Like there's a good chance you can get knocked out if you don't play right. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know how to box and how to, fight against him, he will fuck you up. It's that simple. And like Ali, that man is quick. He got stamina. He can move around people real good. Like it's funny how they built each boxer to their true life.
What was Foreman?
Foreman, he was solid. Like he could take a couple of good punches, and he was strong. He had a lot of durability, and he was strong. He could definitely hurt.
So what? Like Tyson was like fast and strong.
He was pretty strong. Yeah, he was strong. He was fast, and his left hook, that was one of the stronger of his punches. And you could really knock. Like I remember playing with him and knocking somebody out in like the 2nd round easily, just because of knowing the stories and watching the matches. Like. If you mimicked what they did in real life, there's a good chance you're gonna be good with that boxer.
I don't even know how the controls work in that game at all.
It was funny. They introduced this called total punch control thing where the stick, if like you tap it forward, it was a jab. If you hooked it, it was a hook. Like if you came down at an angle on the hook, it was an uppercut. It was if you learn that, you have more control, but then you also have just buttons. You can hit the buttons to jab and
okay,
whatnot.
gotcha.
There was 2 ways to do it, but
Okay.
the total punch control, you have more control. Like legitimately, you could fake them. You could hold it down, right, and come with the uppercut, but then just come with the other hand. You know what I'm saying? But with the buttons, once you hit the button, they do it.
Gotcha.
You know, you can hold it, but that's going to make a haymaker. It's not going to actually hold the punch where you want it. You can just move your arm and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Versus hitting the button where you're just telling them to do it versus controlling the arm. You know what I'm saying? That's was I got to give them credit. And the thing is, I used to hate on it, but once I learned it,
You were like, fuck
you
yes.
could do some shit to people.
Yeah.
Like, you could really mess some people
Yeah.
up. And that was a really good one. Honestly, Fight Night was a good series.
Never played that game. Ever.
Best boxing series, one of the best boxing games of all time.
Man, I'm not a big gamer though. Like for real, like on the honest level, like I guess when I was younger, I played like a decent amount of games, but as I've gotten older, I played like less and less games. I guess I don't have time technically, but also I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's a weird thing because like when I got the Phantom Pain, like I was into it and I was playing it a lot. And I guess what it is, I'm trying to like focus on like playing ball more and shit like that, like playing soccer and like that's probably what it is. But
which is understandable.
Yeah. But it would be cool to find.
A balance.
To find another series that I could like play like an hour.
I don't think there's anything wrong with video games. The thing is, it's like I play FIFA. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But video games are just when you find that game, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
You just want to do that thing.
They're great. No, they're super great. Like I love like whenever the next Grand Theft Auto comes out, I'm gonna be.
That's
so
that's going to be a lot of hours spent on
the
that.
next one they're dropping that I'm highly anticipating is the Red Dead Redemption.
I haven't played that game either.
If you like a good story, and if you actually have any type of like for old school cowboys like Clint Eastwood and shit like that, you have to play it. You have to. Like, if you love Grand Theft Auto and you like cowboys, like the old school Clint Eastwood type westerns and shit, like if you like old school westerns and you like GTA,
it
is the most perfect
game for it.
Mixture of them both. Because you can legitimately, just like in GTA, you can do what you want. You can steal a horse. You can rob people. You can lasso a bitch and tie her to the train tracks and leave her. And like as you're riding around on your horse throughout the Old West, every so often a mission, like not even a mission, somebody will pop up like, I need help. And you can go over and like legitimately help them.
That's cool.
Like, there's poker. There's like, it's a Western. You live and breathe a Western.
That's cool.
And it is the best thing. And the story itself is amazing. Like, it is like a good Western. Like anything old, like The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, 310 to Yuma, True Grit, all shit like that, the old Western movies.
Yeah.
Like, it is the embodiment of that. And like the second one coming out has been like a lot of gamers have been waiting for that shit for a while.
Wait, so there's only one right now?
Yeah, well there's the original Red Dead Revolver where it was more linear. You know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of like imagine GTA but more boxed in. Like it was free but not as free roam as
I
as
see
GTA.
what you're saying.
Like you had some wiggle room.
Yeah.
But there was definitely blocks.
It's like playing almost like like Metal Gear 2. No, yeah, like Metal Gear 2. Yeah. Where like you can't really like you have to be like you can't just like roam around necessarily. You kind of have to like stick to like the mission.
Right,
you know
but there's still some room where you could like because I know there's people who were able to almost I think beat the game without having to fight some of the bosses that they had to.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's like ways of getting around
in Metal Gear?
In the second one.
Really?
Yeah, there's like some tricks that like you can get around some of the fights. Like I know one specifically, if I'm not mistaken, was Fat Man. The dude on the roller skates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him, I think there's a way you can actually avoid that
How?
fight. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember the actual logistics of it, like what you needed to do.
That's crazy.
But yeah.
I get that a game would actually do that. That's insane.
Yeah, and with Red Dead Revolver, like it wasn't necessarily where you because you didn't really want to avoid some shit because it was just cool to the story.
Yeah.
But it was more straightforward where you had like invisible walls in a sense.
Okay.
Like there was areas, and if you went so far, it would stop.
Yeah,
you.
it'd stop you. Yeah.
Whereas GTA, the only thing is if you go so far, you usually drown because you're in water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was the big difference of that. So Red Dead Redemption was that.
GTA 3 was like that, too.
Yeah, GTA 3 definitely. Matter of fact, Red Dead Revolver and GTA 3 are pretty much kind of the same idea in the sense of one's a Western, one's, normal. Not normal, but up to date. So, that exactly is a good idea. So GTA 5, how open it is.
Yeah, you can pretty much go wherever.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption is that, basically.
Yeah.
It's open, where you can go pretty much anywhere you want for the most part. It's still a little cut off in certain points because they don't want you to go to, because there's the game itself is like 3 acts almost. The first act is in the middle, the second act is Mexico, and the third act is pretty much kind of like the woods type scenario, like the raccoon hats and old what's his name? There was an old I can't think of it. Davy Jones, not Davy Jones. Davy Jones, no. Like an old. Not Davy Jones. Who am I thinking?
You're not thinking about like Teddy Roosevelt, right?
No. But there was a Davy Crockett. I think it's David Crockett.
Maybe, yeah.
Because that was old hunter, like old school, but in the woods, bears and shit like that, So that's like the last part of the story. You go up that area, like in the mountains and shit. So, but all in the Old West. Mm-hmm. But it was really open. Like I said, you could do whatever you want. You could steal horses, hang people, all sorts of shit. Like, it was great. It was fucking amazing. Like, to the point where I would spend hours sometimes just hunting animals. Like bears and birds and shit. And then once you kill it, you skin it, and you go sell the shit for money. So...
Yeah, I want to play that game now.
Yeah, like Red Dead Redemption was amazing. And Part 2 comes out next year, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe it's a prequel to this one, where you kind of learn about how he got to the beginning of that story.
Oh, okay.
I think.
So it's like going back to Metal Gear. It's like Metal Gear, where they go back.
Yeah, the third one was back in the
60s
or 60s, right? Yeah. So that, basically. Kind of like that. But I guess it's probably going to be even more open this time around, I'm assuming, because Jesus. Like, I legit...
Like Jesus is in the game?
No.
Because Jesus.
No, you can't break bread with Jesus, unfortunately.
Damn.
But
they don't go that back.
But there is that, though. The like, back on the Old West, how, Jesus was being pushed a lot back in the old day in the Western.
Also, there's a lot of, like, religious people
There's
in the game.
like, a couple religious people in the game, like, that you do missions for and stuff. Like, it's really cool. Like, it's everything is pure Western. If you have any type of enjoyment of Westerns, that is something you have to play.
That's cool.
Easily.
Have you ever played, The Last of Us?
I haven't had a PlayStation 4 up until just recently.
So you haven't played
situation,
it yet?
So no.
Oh my god!
But I saw it and I was like, that looks amazingly good.
Literally, it's like, oh my! I can't even explain it. Like, if you like a good story, that one is just amazing, and it's so realistic in the sense of like, there's great stealth to it, but then there's also like awesome fighting to it, and it's hard. The game is fucking hard, and it's also like, I feel the story is almost like it's possible because the way that they do it is like, it's not like just like zombies. It's like a fungus.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like that is probably how, if that were to happen, that's how it would happen.
I could see that. Yeah. I could definitely see that.
Something way harder to deal with. That's great to know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great to know.
And it's because when I saw that, because I had played through Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Resident Evil 4 was a good one, actually, and I didn't beat it, but I got pretty close to the end. But I saw how, like, in Resident Evil 4, there's a certain point of the game you get the president's daughter, and she's following around. You got to keep her safe from the zombies and shit. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because when I first got her, like, I'm playing through it, and mind you, this is like a while back, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing everything in my power to make sure she doesn't get attacked or hurt or anything, right? So then I saved it. I remember one point I was like, all right, I'm done for the day. I saved it, and I was like, I'm curious. So we all did what we all normally would do in a situation like this, and I shot her in her head. And it was game over. I didn't expect it at all, honestly. I thought maybe I would have missed. Maybe the bullet would have went through. Because, again, this was GameCube. This was years ago.
So you can kill her.
Yeah, she dead as fuck. I laughed because I was like, I made sure to save right before because I was like, I'm gonna try this before I quit playing for the night. I'm curious because it was on my head because I had just got her. So I just hit that point in the story where I'm like, I gotta protect this chick.
But wait, so what would if you hadn't saved? What would have happened if you?
I
would
have.
Well, it's game over at that point.
So
So
you have to
would've
start from the
gone,
beginning of the
from
game.
wherever I was, from the last save
From the
point.
last save
So
point, yeah.
like, because I remember when I had got her, I was like, oh shit, okay. I played probably like another 30 minutes, maybe an hour at most, and then I was like, all right, I'm done. And I saved it, and I was like, well, you know what? I've had her this whole time. I've been perfect. She hasn't got attacked or nothing. All the zombies are dead. It's like, I'm curious. And then I shot her in the head, and she died. And it was great.
That's crazy.
And it was great.
I was like,
usually be like nothing would happen. Usually.
Yeah, well, because back then, I mean, this was GameCube era, so this was 2002-ish. 2000. Well, actually, no. It was about 2004-ish because I remember I had just graduated recently because I graduated in 2003. So, yeah, about 2004. I remember sitting there playing that, and I was just like, so let's see how far games have come. Because that's what I always like to do. When I play shit, at a certain point when I'm like, all right, kind of done for playing this right now, I start to test limits. I'm like,
you
all
want to
right,
see
let's see how much I can fuck up shit in this game. Let's see where we can go with
what
this.
happens in it, yeah.
And I love it when they do that. I love, like, there's Skyrim is a good example of that. If you like fantasy type shit and first-person shooters, Skyrim is a good, fun game. It's real RPG-ish. That is another where you can kind of do what you want scenarios. But they took it to the point where you can kill people that give you your quests / missions. You straight kill them. That's it. They done. They don't come back.
Yeah.
I don't want missions from this person anymore. You could just kill them.
Now, there's certain ones that you cannot kill because it's an actual, like, you can't, if you kill, like, that's a part of the game
It
to
stops
the point.
the game, yeah.
Yeah, you will fuck yourself. But there's other ones, like the side ones, you can just kill the motherfuckers. And no matter. Like, I was like, this is dope.
Yeah.
Like, we're this far in technology now. I'm loving this. Because, again, looking at the development of a game, like, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, of course.
Know? So to have the game itself to say, well, if the player does this, then this happens.
Yeah. There's a lot of scenarios, basically.
Yeah. So, like, because I've delved into programming to get an idea of what's behind it. And I saw that, and that's the basic concept of telling the program to say, at this point in time, this does this. If this user does this, then this happens. So imagine that on the scale of a video game. If you walk forward, this happens.
Yeah.
If you walk forward onto this type of tile, this happens.
Yeah.
So these guys, these programmers are legitimately coding all of that.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, like I've tried it myself a little bit. There's programs out there that kind of dumb it down. And make it a little bit easier, but still show you the idea of this is what programming is. Instead of typing the code, there's clicking boxes and there's drag and drops.
Yeah.
But you still get the idea. If this goes here, this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do that, it gives you more options. Well, if this happens, then what happens after this?
Yep.
So imagine that on that scale of a programmer, and you're like, well, shit, if he kills this guy, what do I make it do?
Yeah, exactly.
He's just gone, I guess.
Exactly. And to play a game where you can basically say, if this guy dies, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't used to that. I'm used to, I kill this dude, I can probably just load the game back up and he'll be back.
I think of Zelda. You stab someone, they die, like they go a little like red or whatever, and then you walk out of there when you come back,
and they're back there,
and they're back.
Yeah, this was not that at all. And when I heard about that, I was like, that's crazy. That's no way, right? Like, that would break the game. And it's like, no, the only ones you cannot kill are the ones that are actually important to the story
And they'll make
itself.
sure that you can't kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the side shit, the little extra shit, you can kill whoever the hell you want. And, like, what's funnier is that it gets to the point where they remember you. Like, you legitimately play through the game and they're like talking shit about you because you murdered a whole town.
Yeah.
Like, people are afraid of you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like we've come this far from Mario to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You
I
know?
remember that's kind of like Fable.
Yeah.
Fable. It was
That
like,
was a great one.
Yeah.
I love
that
that shit.
The first one is one that I remember the most because, like, especially the town thing, they would remember you, like, if you go from one town to like the next one and you did something in the town, right? Like, are you the person that
they
did
mention
that?
it.
And
They're like, "Oh, you're the one that killed all the beasts in the
Yeah.
cave." I'm like, "Yeah, damn right, that was me, bitch."
Run, bitch.
Also raped your mom.
Exactly. Well, they didn't have the rape option, but you definitely could have sex in that game.
You could.
Yes. Yes.
It was.
You could have sex in that game.
Getting raped though.
Yeah,
That's where the Me
rape
Too
was,
moment started.
Right, exactly.
That's why they couldn't do that. That's why they couldn't do that.
Fucking Fable. Blame you, not anybody else.
But that game was dope, dude. Like
Oh, yeah.
you could choose. I mean, the moment you started the game, like, do I want to be good or do I want to be bad? And
Exactly.
just do things.
I never played that game either.
And that's another one of those that came out on the original Xbox, like the original Xbox, and that was when I remember when they were talking about it, like before they were releasing it. I heard about it and I was like, Fable, that sounds like something up my alley. I like fantasy shit. All right, I'm gonna see what this is. Okay, it's an action game. That's number 2. I like action games. All right, I can be good or bad. I was like, let's see how far this goes. And I'm reading about it. I'm like, oh shit, like it's legitimately like. You get you turn, you get horns,
yeah, the worse you get, the like your appearance changes.
You can end up looking like a straight up demon.
Yeah, like my dude by the end of my
enough.
first playthrough, because I went totally evil all the way through.
Right.
Everybody I could kill quest wise,
killed.
make myself evil, they died.
Yeah.
And by the end of the game, my dude had horns and a cloud of flies following him around.
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing.
I bet you that's like the majority of people choose that route.
Yeah. Well,
It's
because
just
you
more
don't want to
fun.
do it in real life.
Yeah, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
That's why Grand Theft Auto exists.
it's kind of easier than being good, actually.
Oh yeah, it is, because a lot of times honestly, yeah. I mean,
the game
shout out to
itself.
developers for being assholes like that. In a sense, like they make it harder to be good.
They do.
It's like get through this mission and save this person, but don't kill this guy. Being bad, kill everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's easy.
yeah.
It's easier to stop. It's not easy to stop halfway through and be like, hold on, I can't kill you, but I can kill this guy.
It's like if Grand Theft Auto did that thing where you could stop the guy who just robbed that chick.
yeah.
But instead of automatically giving the money back, you know how you just keep the money? It would be like that.
Yeah.
Like, it would be great. Like, oh,
Exactly.
you got robbed. This is your purse, right?
And I used to do that, actually. Actually, Red Dead Redemption actually does that.
Oh, it does?
Like,
Really?
there's if you're in a town, you're walking around just hanging out, you'll hear, stop that guy, he stole from me. And then you can stop him. And when you stop him, you have the choice to take the money back to the dude he stole it from or just ride into the sunset.
Right into the sun.
Grand Theft Auto 3, remember there was the thieves?
Yeah.
But, you could never return the money. Your only option was to kill them and take the money.
Exactly.
That they robbed.
Yeah. So, it's nice to see.
I stole the money you stole.
Yeah, exactly.
I stole it right back, bitch. But it's nice to see them come back, come into that way of giving a lot more choice. And even in another example like that, I don't think it's going to be around much longer, but there's a Star Wars MMO, kind of like World of Warcraft, except it's Star Wars. That's basically it. They're the exact same game, legit, almost to the T, just Star Wars. But that one, though, the big difference is their story. They have a lot of cutscenes and all this shit, but the thing is you pick good side versus dark side, light side versus dark side choices. So I was playing as a Sith, which is the bad side,
dark
right?
side, yeah.
The dark side, right? But I was the nicest Sith of all time. And the reactions you get in the game itself, the way they write it, their writing is genius because people are a lot of times confused. Especially on that side, they're like, "Wait, what?" There a lot of times the reaction is like, "Hold on, you're supposed to not do this." It's hilarious.
The way that the characters in the game react to you.
because it actually legitimately affects your story. Because I played through the same guy twice because I wanted to see. I was
difference.
How different is the dialogue? How different is the reactions? How different is what I get afterwards if I do it light side versus dark side? And there are a lot of big differences. There's one I remember in specifically. I was playing a bounty hunter, right? So kind of like the Boba Fett with the rock packet.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was playing a guy like that, right? You can make one like that. So one of the missions was the quest was you go save this lady or this guy from prison, but because you got to get some codes from him to get into this secure area, right? So the first available option when you're talking to him was a straight kill him right then and there and take the codes. And I was just or the good option is you release him and you help him get out. So I was like, at that character, I had an idea in mind. He wasn't necessarily a full bad guy, but he definitely was about the money. So,
yeah, which would lend to being
getting
more
the codes
evil.
doesn't have to do
right.
with killing.
And one of the options was it actually didn't give you bad or good points, but it said basically he's going to give you more money. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to click that option. So I get him out of prison. I was like, all right, now take him to the spot. So I took him to the spot. And then now he's getting worried. He's like, are you sure you're not going to kill me if I do this for you, right? And they give you the light side, dark side option. I'm like, oh, I hit the light side. I'm like, I'm not going to kill you, bro. You're cool. And then he opens it up, and then they give you the option again. And they're like, you can either say, all right, you're good to go. Then there's the you're good to go option with no money towards me. Then there's the you're good to go option but give me money. Then there's the bad option where give me your money and then you kill him, which I did that. And it was the most hilarious shit I've seen in the game like that time. I was just like, the guy was like, he was like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? And he's like, he turns around and you shoot him in the back of his head. Like, It was hilarious as fuck. Because, I mean, again, this is Star Wars. So it was just funny as hell to me. And I was like, yo, I can't believe this just happened. They let me do this. Like, this is part of the game. Like, they really thought about this. Like, this type of character, this is how this shit would go down. Like, a bounty hunter would do this.
Yeah.
You know? Whereas the Sith shit was pretty much straightforward. Kill or not kill. A lot of times.
Yeah.
You know? Which I killed a lot, and then a lot of times I didn't. And the times you didn't, people were seriously confused. Like, they wrote the stories out, the dialogues. Like, these people
but
are
if someone chooses not to kill him,
Yeah.
what would they say?
Yeah.
They're, like, legitimately confused. Like, because, again, you're, like, playing, like, a role of, like, a Darth Vader, you know, like, the legit bad side.
Yeah.
And when you don't do bad side things, people are like, wait,
Why?
what?
Yeah. Why are you
And
not?
it's funny as hell. And the
That's
same thing with a
cool.
Jedi. Going around being a Jedi and killing people is the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, you're like Anakin.
Yeah, because people are like, well, that's not how a normal Jedi would do it. Like, it's funny as hell because you get these backhanded ass compliments or backhanded remarks and shit. And it's just like, it's funny to see like the writers really kind of went in and thought about that.
Yeah,
and was just
yeah.
like, well, how would somebody react in this universe of seeing a Jedi basically just kill people just because he said fuck it and
Yeah.
needed to get the job done?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's a lot of that for me is why I love gaming as much as I do, is seeing how these different ideas and how they execute them. You know, like, it's pretty fucking amazing. And the thing is, it's like reading a book a lot. of
Yeah,
the
it
time.
is. It's better, honestly.
Yeah, because you get some
Because you're
hand-eye
doing
coordination.
it. Yeah, you're doing it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not you're not just reading it and like the writer is kind of deciding what happens, unless it's one of those books where you can choose where
Choose
to
Your
go.
Adventure books, which shout out
Yeah.
to Beau Full Capital L is working on one I want to do for an app.
There we go.
I actually have the first few pages done, but it's all going to tie into my big project that I want to do, my game that I eventually want to get developed. The character the story that you're reading about is my world, though, that I created. I created a world. I did. The guy, he's the Reaper of my world.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you know, in mythology and people's stories and shit like that, there's sometimes a person, a reaper of some sort, that carts people off to the other world and shit like that. Well, I got mine. And he basically, this story is how you kind of learn about how he becomes acquainted with his abilities of being pretty much the Reaper of the world. Because you meet him in the sense of he just became the Reaper. So he's not necessarily, he doesn't know he can pretty much be in multiple places and shit. He's new.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's a jester. Go
Have you
figure.
ever played Sphinx on the GameCube?
Sphinx? That sounds familiar.
Dude, there's this like part you go from the prince, you go to being the mummy.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's King Tut and he
Yeah.
just died. So it's that same thing where he like you come into the point where he just died, he became a mummy, and now he's up. And you're running around and doing these things and you're just like you have no idea. Like he has no idea.
Right.
He almost doesn't know that he's dead.
Yeah.
But then you can go and like just like turn yourself on fire and go light some other shit to
That's
keep
pretty
going
dope.
forward. Like it's like a puzzle thing.
Yeah.
So it's just that's funny that you mentioned that because he's just running around really confused.
Yeah.
He's like,
Well,
I
and
guess
that's
I'm
the
dead.
thing too is like I thought about it in the sense of like, all right, so in my world it's a fantasy world. It's like I'm on the line of like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings type shit. Like it's fantasy, right? And I was like, well, in these types of worlds, usually there's some type of death presence, entity of some sort, right? So I was like, I got to have one. I want one. I'm going to do it. So I did it, and it's a jester. And he basically, you know, the gods are like, we like this guy, you know, and we want him, because their idea is like, we don't want death to be a sad time. We want people to, you know, move on happily.
Yeah,
you know?
like a joke almost.
Yeah, you know, almost like smile while you pass, you know, because a lot of people want that sometimes. Is I don't want you to be sad that I'm dead. I want you to enjoy my life. So enjoy when I was here, enjoy my stories. And that's why I got the idea. I was like, well, my Reaper, my Reaper is a jester. He's going to be a jester.
That's
and
funny.
so the
That's
gods
good.
picked him because he was a jester that wasn't in for the money. He was in it to make people laugh and make people happy. So they were like, we like that. We like this guy. So I have a like 2-3 page origin of him when he gets the ability. And then the choose your own adventure story that I'm working on is pretty much, he's a big part of everything. He's pretty much my Mario, my Sonic, or whatever, as you want to call it. He's going to be my mascot. Mm-hmm. But he's also in the game as an important portion of it, as in he's through everything. All the timelines, because my world, I see it as something that people will want to write in. People want to come and be like, I want to write some stories for you and your shit. I don't want to fuck with what you did. I want to do something like 100, 200 years later or some shit like that, which I'm cool with. I want that. Like, that's my goal, too, is I want to make something that people are so involved into the fact that they enjoy it so much they want to be a part of it to that extent. Like, I want to write a story for you about somebody I thought of that would be really cool. You know, like Kyle, actually, from work, Kyle, he actually wants to do a storyline like 100 or 200 years after what I'm doing about basically the classic cure scenario from vampires, like a cure for vampirism. Mm-hmm. Kind of like in X-Men, how they have the whole mutant versus non-mutant, and how eventually the cure comes out, and then there's that moral dilemma: do I
want to?
Right? Do I want to, or should I be proud of being a mutant?
Yeah.
So kind of taking away from that a little bit and making it on that level of vampirism, like there's a potential possibility there's a cure. I could get rid of this. But then in my world, vampires are not evil people. Mm-hmm. Some are. There's groups of evil people, sure. But the overall idea is they're just a different race of people. They're you know, Hispanic, Asian, whatever. They're
Exactly.
a race of people of their own kind in my world. So he wanted to do that, basically 100, 200 years later, having that story of there's finally somebody who might be able to stop it. And it's been, some people look at it as a disease. Yeah. Where others are just like, nah, that's just what we are. Fuck it. You know, so he wants to do that, and so my jester, his name is Lufad. If you spell it backwards, it's just a fool. But that's just me being clever.
Clever.
Because it's me. This jester is basically me. It's going to be an embodiment of me. The character, I want him to kind of look like me a little bit, not too much. But it's just, I'm putting myself in it because I can fucking do that.
Yeah.
I made this world. I make the rules.
Yeah.
I want to be in it.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not put myself in there some way, and I will be my own mascot, basically. But the really cool idea about him is he'll appear as not just a human per se, but as in different races. So you'll see a vampire version or a golem or a goblin version. He's him. It's the same character. He just looks different. It's a shell, But he will transcend time because he's a fucking reaper. Yeah. But the thing is, when he first gets his powers, he doesn't know how to work with them. He doesn't know how to use them. So my choose your own adventure story is basically it's an important history in my world. It's one of the first possible wars. In the scheme of things, it doesn't happen. But that's his whole motive, is to stop it from happening. So he needs to get to a certain point to stop this war from happening, basically.
Gotcha.
And, it's fun because he can't die. He's death. Yeah. How do you stop? How do you game over? How do you kill a character if he can't die? So I'm writing this in that theory of, okay, well, my main thing is he has to be at a certain place at a certain time to stop this shit, right? How can I do that? Well, one of my, spoiler alert, one of my deaths is, well, I guess quote-unquote deaths, is he gets thrown off a boat. And he can't swim. He doesn't fly or anything because he just got this ability. So he doesn't know the full extent of it, which eventually he will be able to kind of teleport, be in multiple places and shit. But he doesn't know this yet. So legitimately, he just ends up sitting at the bottom of the ocean. And he's like, well, fuck, I can't get there on time now. And that's pretty much, you're done, start over. You know?
I was really going to say, like, you could make it so that, well, something that was supposed to happen didn't happen, right? Because if we're talking about death, and this
because you're looking at a choose your own adventure book. So the like that particular selection, that scene or whatever, I guess those pages is you basically you get to this point where you get on this boat with pirates. He's familiar with the captain. He's cool with the captain. He's done shows for him before, and he's like, I need passage to this place, right? He's like, all right, cool, I got you, but you ain't doing it for free. I need you to perform. It's the performance. It has a couple of options that you read that you have. You can juggle, you can tell a joke. And one of them, if you pick it, is wrong, obviously, and you get thrown overboard. And that's basically the end of that. And the thing is, I had Kyle again. He did the artwork for that death because I want to do it to where in the app you have little pictures and shit of like pretty much kind of the death scenes and stuff to give it a little bit more oomph. And he pretty much drew him sitting at the bottom of the ocean, cross-legged, kind of with his hand in his head in his hand, just kind of thinking
about what
like,
went wrong.
well, shit, what am I gonna do now, basically? Because he again has it's a time-sensitive thing, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's funny because that being able to do that, you know, and seeing on the inside, like wanting to do it, like wanting to make the game and shit, like seeing that and putting myself in that position of the writing, people don't see that, and it's funny because it's a big deal. Like being able to create all that and actually put it out there for people and say, yeah, this is my project. I did this. Have some fun with this. Hopefully it goes over well, you know. It's crazy, like seeing it from the inside and having those choices, you know, and giving people that opportunity, because that's just one segment. Like I think 20 pages of it done so far, and it's tough because again, it's stopping death. Like how do you stop death? Like another one, he gets trapped in a magic forest almost, like he's running in circles basically, just stuck.
In a maze almost?
Yeah, almost. And I'm like, that's another good way to get him not be able to be there. Yeah. You know, so, you know, it's fun. And that's been the toughest part of writing that is trying to come up with ways like, I can't kill him. Well, fuck.
How do I stop the gamer?
Right. Like, how do I stop somebody who can't die? Like, because in most of those Choose Your Adventure games, a lot of that shit is you turn to this page, and it's the wrong page. Yeah. You're dead.
Well, yeah, or it's not death, so you just die.
Right. You know, it's crazy. So I definitely can kind of understand where, you know, these developers, like how they can sit there and be like, well, if you shoot this guy or if you give him his money back, then you have this option, you know. And it's crazy. Like being on the other side of it and seeing it and writing it, making it, it's like, I get it. Now, I see why these things take 2-3 different years to put out one game because all of it's choices.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, and it's, yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, and every choice brings out a different scenario. It's like almost like, let's say you had 3 choices in a game like that. You'd have to write, well, depending on the game, you'd have to write literally 3 different endings to a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's exactly like what I plan on doing with the game itself too, is I want to have that potential opportunity, but then I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to write basically 2 or 3 different stories. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
You know, exactly, and part of it too is like I also have it though. I want one ending, in a sense of like it all kind of, even though you made this choice, it still is gonna end up ultimately at the end, but in between, the middle will be different. You know. Because in my main story, again, it's going to be a beat-em-up game, but it's also going to have a story to it. And you'll have a couple of choices where certain people will be in the party and certain people won't. And it's like, I'm going to have to write that shit. Yeah. That's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I think when said and done, it's going to be something that is like kind of nostalgic, but also, you know, giving people a little bit newish. A little, because my mechanics of the game itself, I don't think I've seen it done yet. So I'm hoping by the time I get it out, it hasn't been done.
Yeah. No, that'll be super interesting, man.
So
we'll see. You got to put it out demo, man.
Well, I got to get it developed first.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to find a programmer.
You got to put something out, so that way it's you.
Yeah, and that's where the Choose Your Own Adventure game comes into play, because it's going to be an app, and once I finish the story, that's going to be the easiest one to do. because it's all text and just pictures and probably a couple of music tracks, because I do want to have like some kind of background music in the app to play. You know, all local, like, you know, work on, maybe even do something myself, like with, you know, some beats and shit or something. I don't know. But that is so far the easiest project, because I'll basically give it to the programmer, be like, look, all you got to do is make it to where they have to read the text, then they scroll down, they hit one button, it does this, they hit the other button, it does, that shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I like I said, I fucked around with programming a little bit. I can see that being pretty easy. You can tell the game, display this text, scroll down, here's the 2 buttons, hit one, it does this, hit one, it does that, and then you got the next text. And that I want to do for basically $1. I'm like, here's my game for $1. There you go. And take that money to the other project and get my demo, then put the demo out. And
you should do a GoFundMe, man.
That's what I might end up doing for the end goal. That's what I want to do. But the main thing is getting the choose your own adventure shit out first.
Yeah.
That's the easiest.
That's a good intro for sure for like a full game.
Well, because that you get one of the most important characters, the main staple. But 2, you get an idea of what I'm doing, like my world.
You know what also is cool too? Like it would be unique in the sense of, I feel like you would almost be the first person to start a game off that's literally like completely different than just playing it. You know what I'm saying? Like on a console.
Yeah.
It's like a.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think I've seen that either. I don't think
I've never
seen somebody
seen that.
take an app and take an idea from their app and make it into a full-fledged actual console game.
Yeah, and then like the second one be like, oh, I'm playing now I'm playing a 3D game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's basically it, because the legitimately the choose your own adventure is just going to be that, just pretty much text, couple pictures, and mainly probably on the deaths and the important parts, if you know, because there won't be a lot of artwork. It'll just be still pages. Still pictures.
Yeah.
You know, just, you know, old-fashioned books with pictures, you know. But with choices and a little bit of music. Maybe like 2 or 3 different tracks that you can loop pretty easily and sell that for like $1.
Yeah.
You know, because I wouldn't want to do that for free just because I want that as in a sense of you're donating.
Yes.
I don't even think as you buying a product. I call it you donating, because in this sense, I'm going to take this same money. I'm not going to go buy a car with it.
It's $1, bro.
Exactly.
It's only $1.
And I want to use this $1 to put it towards the next project. I want to give you something else for this $1 you're giving.
Yeah, it's
me.
not.
You know,
that's not a lot of money.
Exactly. And
you can find that on the street right now.
Right, and the thing is, people spend plenty of cash on apps as it is, full-fledged games that are like developers and shit. They spend dollars and dollars and dollars on gems and shit so they can speed up shit or whatever. Like, I've seen that. Like, there was one game that I legitimately was like, here's $5, because I've played this shit for almost 2 years now and have gotten enjoyment out of this for free. So here's $5. I should probably pay more, but I can't justify. It's a fucking phone app.
Yeah.
I can't justify paying more than like $5 on
for
a phone app.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it's already free.
Did they have ads on the
Yeah.
game? Yeah, that's where they make their money.
And exactly. And I'm like, I know you're already making money off this shit. I'm sure little Dexter down the street over here, this kid who's like 10, is probably milking his parents' account right now. So here's $5 from a grown-ass man who knows the value of $5.
Yeah, the fact that you made this content, like, regardless. Yeah.
You know, so, and that's how I look at it, because, I mean, it's a story, and it's not going to just be some short shit. Like, it's going to be a full-blown choose-your-own-adventure like the old-school books, you know. So I want to be able to, like, I want to take that, and I'll even put that probably in the description on the app or whatever. You know, be prepared for an upcoming story within this world.
That's a good idea.
On a console, because that's my end goal, is to have the game on the console, because I want to bring back like I said, the Simpsons, the X-Men arcade games, where you sat there with friends and the 4 of you beating up people, you know, like putting quarters in, shit like that. Granted, it's going to be on the console, so you won't need the quarters, but the idea of that.
Dude, that would be super cool if, like, you went from, like, the app idea to, like, a 2D game, and then the third one into a 3D game. You know what I'm
going straight into 2/3D, because the shit I'm talking about is pretty much that. Like the old beat 'em up games like that. That's basically what they were. They were kind of like 2D, 3D, and that's what I'm aiming for, because those were fun, classic. you can drop hours in, and it was just simple.
Yeah.
But I'm taking it a slight step to where it's that, but also there's story, there's RPG elements of, leveling your character and buying, armor and shit for them, but also replayability. There's going to be certain aspects of the game that you choose certain things for your character. Let's say the main character, to give you an example, he is a vampire hunter, right? That's the main character. So his main abilities are vampire hunting abilities, right? At a certain point, you get to pick up a second one, and there's 6 of them that you get to choose from. But once you pick it, that's it, because it's the whole idea of you're as a fighter, like you're gonna have 2 styles of fighting to help you get through the game, and you get to pick this out of the 6. There's 6 legitimate different ones who also have 3 sub options. So 6 and then the 3 for each. That's a lot of math. But that's a lot. So you have that option to go back and play again and say, okay, well, he was a vampire hunter wizard. Now I'm going to play through as a vampire hunter weapon master.
Yeah.
And, so you get to go back and play again and really, see how different it could be, and just have some fun seeing the different combos you can do, because it's all gonna be about combos and shit, and looking dope ass fucking, like 100 hit combo, that, because everybody knows that great feeling in those games where you're like 100 hit combo, shit yeah, I'm a badass, hell yeah, whether it's a fighting game or a beat 'em up game, everybody loves that feeling. So I'm gonna bring that back. I want to bring that back in a good way.
Would be do you have like a time frame of when you think that might come out?
Hell no. The Choose Your Own Adventure, I would love to get that out in the next year or 2. I really would. But it's hard for me to write right now with the limited
privacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when I write, for me, it's got to be me and music. When I write, because I'm not a musician, but I'm a writer.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, having some music in the background, just kind of let my thoughts go and write, that's my thing. And it's hard to do in the current situation because there's dogs barking and people talking and yelling. And
yeah, no.
It's like,
I get that, dude. I couldn't write. It's hard for me even now to just, sit down and write a song, when Ellie is here, just because I feel like I'm not, because I want to be if she comes home from work or something, I don't want to just be in my in my zone and not pay attention to anything. Right. You know what I'm saying? I want to spend time with the person.
Not that I care, but sure.
No,
right.
She cares. She's told me.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, dude, I totally care.
What are you doing in there? But no, because the thing is, I
kick indoors.
I could fucking spend hours. I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've spent hours just recording or whatever it is, honestly, and yeah, I could, if I were to do that, I wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So,
and it's tough. It's tough sometimes, especially when you already have a lot of shit going on mentally. Mm-hmm. So it's hard sometimes to sit there and be like, all right, I'm gonna focus on this. And the thing is, there's times where you take big breaks in between, as at least from my point of view as a writer, as I'm writing the script itself and then the story itself. So as from that point of view, mentally being drained from a day at work or something like that will totally stop me from sitting there, because then I will sit down and then I'll start rereading what I did, and then I'll be in full edit mode at that point.
Yeah, you want to change it up.
Yeah, there's plenty of times where I went in to sit down. I'm like, all right, I'm going to spend the next couple hours. I'm just going to write. I'm just going to put some new shit down. And then I start reading what I wrote. And I'm starting yo, this is really fucking good. I love what I did so far. I'm like, but I need to fix this real quick. Or I need to fix this. Or, oh, what about this? How would somebody ask me? If somebody asked me, why is this way? Why would it be that way? I got to answer that question for myself. Because that's how I also look at it, too, in the process is, okay, for instance, my vampires. To give you an example, again, a fantasy world. So I got elves, vampires, goblins, all that shit, right? How do my vampires work, though, is what I ask myself as the writer. I'm like, I don't want these gay-ass sparkly vampires. I don't want that shit. I want my vampires to be a little bit different, and I know a lot of shit has been done. Vampires have been overdone so many times.
Especially now.
Yeah, so how do mine differ? So, one, they ain't sparkly, but they can definitely be out in daylight. Secondly, they're not all fucking pale. Sorry, I'm done with that idea. I'm gonna have vampires that got skin tones. They can go tanning, all that shit.
They can be Blade, basically.
Right, exactly. But also in the sense of the abilities. Like, a lot of times, generally, all vampires are strong, all vampires are fast, all vampires can do this.
Yeah.
Not mine. There's very select few in the world that can do all of that shit. But then the majority only have maybe one or two traits.
Okay.
Like, one might be super strong where the other one's super fast. Or one might be able to have that mental control where they can mind control you, where his brother can just run super fast or fly or whatever. That's one of the big things, And two, stabbing in the heart with a stake ain't working. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Nope. Done with that.
That's a cliche.
Yeah, it's a cliche. I want to step away from that. So chopping heads off, that's one of the ways it's happening. And secondly, burning them up. You gotta burn them up though completely.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Because if not,
then they're gonna come back.
They come back.
Not fully. They don't regenerate, but they'll still be alive. So
Gotcha.
like, if you burn off like his arm or some shit, he can get a fake arm or some shit, whatever. But it's not gonna grow back. So it's kind of general idea. But then I was like, all right, cool. I got a set platform now for my vampires, right? Cool. But Beau, what happens? Like, how do they age? Fuck. Like, this is legit my mind right here. Like, as I'm writing and editing, I'm like, as a fan, as somebody, like, because I always look at the fact, or if somebody gets in this and they're my fan, they're going to ask me these questions. I know it. Because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of shit. I know what questions we ask. So I'm like, how would a vampire age? What happens if a vampire and non-vampire have sex? Like, I'm thinking about this shit as I reread it. And the whole time, mind you, as I just said, I went to sit down to write some new shit. Yeah. And that right there was an hour of my time. I kid you fucking not. That's how the process works for me sometimes. And it's like, it's hard to sit there and be like, no, fuck that, I need to write. But sometimes I'm sitting there seriously stuck asking myself questions about all the ins and outs. But it helps, because then that's where that cure came from, the cure idea. Because I was just like, well, shit, that is a good question. Like, what happens? Do they age? Like, oh, no, my vampires don't age. They don't really do that. They're immortal for sure. But then I was like, but what about halvesies? Like, human and vampire. Yeah. Like, when they have a baby, how does that work? Or how does a vampire baby work in general?
Yeah. Because you could do a lot of different things. Like, you could, like, the same idea with, like, specific people have specific abilities. Like, the half baby could be like, okay, they're immortal, and then, like, another one could be not an immortal, but they could have, like, super strength or something. You know, like, shit like that, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So to remedy that, well, I answered that question for myself, though, because I put legitimately, what I do is I write everything at the end of my writing. I put an extra page in and I put little notes. Yeah. And one of my notes was how the vampire shit worked in the sense of babies and aging. So the way it worked was, if two vampires got together and they have a kid, the kid itself is going to grow to pretty much kind of a medium of their age when they got turned. So if they got both turned at 30, then the kid's probably going to get to like 25-ish, in that range, 25 to 30, and stop. And that's it. Then they're done. They're done getting quote-unquote older. They're just immortal from that point. Okay. But then there's also the halves, in the sense of that. What about the halves? Well, the halves just grow old. They're not immortal. But they do have those potential abilities as well. So that's the other thing, too. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of like really fleshed this shit out.
That's so funny, man. Yeah. That's cool, because it's like, I could easily see myself like doing exactly the same thing, where I'm just like, oh wait, but what about this? Oh, but wait, what about that? And it's just, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
I mean, and there's a specific storyline that grabbed pretty much anybody that I've had read what I have so far. There's a storyline that I have about my grand wizard of the whole world, basically, like that one go-to guy that everybody knows about. He ends up basically starting a race. They're half-dragon people, basically. They're half-dragon, but they're also people. Like, they basically look like people, but they're dragons. Like, they're not giant, huge, flying around, though some of them have wings, but mostly they're just people that look like fucking dragons. And, like, that story itself, like, is its own thing. And that's, like, kind of where I started almost, was that particular character. And I was like, yo, I really like where I'm going with this shit. And I just kind of, everything blew up from there. like all the different races, the gods, the fucking storyline. Because my fucking world has gods. Like, I made gods. Like, I've come up with so much shit. The world itself, like, rules. It's crazy. Like, and that I can't wait for eventually to the point where I can actually say, here's a demo of this game. Because that's going to be a big deal when I get down
That's
to that.
good, though, that you've written out so much of it already, because then the idea would be a lot easier for a developer to just basically create the world around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. At that point, I would just bring in the programmer number guy and be like, make this happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And since I already know what I want, and and the thing is, what I'm trying to do isn't something super brand new in the regards of game mechanics. Like, the game itself, playing it isn't too new. It's something that's kind of already done, but I'm refining the idea a little bit. You know, I'm kind of expanding on the idea.
Yeah, I think, and it seems like what you're saying is that the thing that's going to be different from other games is that you're going to have a really unique story.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very, like, descriptive, very detailed, which I feel like nowadays people, I guess it's like almost like there's a lot of detail is just it's authentic, and I think people enjoy something like that because it's honestly, like we were just saying before, it'd be like reading a good book.
Yeah, exactly.
A good book is always really detailed. You don't read a fucking like, no one really necessarily thinks a good book is one that's not detailed and doesn't really like suck you in. So that's cool.
And that's basically where the idea actually was, because initially it was a book. I was initially writing it as a novel, and then I realized what I wanted from it, and I was like, this isn't going to be a novel at all. Like, I want this to be a game, actually. And then that's where it blew up. Like, that's where the initial explosion of the writing itself came from, when I hit that idea of, like, I want this to be a game and not a novel. Yeah. And then, boom, like, ideas started flowing. Like, I spent pretty much 2 to 3 next weeks just legit writing. Every day I got home from work, I went straight back into it and started going and going and going and going. And then eventually life caught up, and then shit got put on hold. And so, but you know, working on it. Working on it.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I can't wait to fucking to play, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I've had dreams about it so far, playing it myself, and it looks pretty good.
So eventually, when you guys can play my dreams,
exactly,
you'll be a part of that as well. Well, that's tight, man. Yeah, and if we can talk about the more about it after this. We're probably gonna start wrapping it up.
All right.
It's at 1:35.
Okay, so then I'm gonna take this moment then and say I want to thank you all for having me come in. Beau full capital L. You can check me out on Blunt Sessions. You can Google us. We have Facebook, Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker, Spreaker. It's Blunt Sessions, Flohio Radio. Check us out Wednesdays, 10 to 12 Eastern Standard Time. And then Beau full capital L gonna be streaming probably the end of next month. So check out that on Twitch.com. And then Beau's podcast, The Beau Show, be coming out probably sometime after that. I'm self-promotion machine, motherfuckers. I'm out.
Yeah, and then
he dropped the mic.
For us, our usual plugs, we're playing May 29th, Will's Pub with Mark with a C in Orlando. And then we also have a show in St. Pete at Cage Brewing, June 23rd.
29th.
Is it 29th? No, it's 23rd.
You did that last time, dude.
No. May 29th is Will's Pub.
I don't know.
We'll play June 23rd.
Let me know which one.
Yes, it is June 23rd.
Where's the bathroom in this place?
Right there.
That bathroom.
Yeah. All right, Beautiful's got to go now. He's got to drain the weasel. Bye.
Wait, okay, but before we end this,
what?
What's up?
I'm gonna look this up.
No, it is. It's the 23rd. I'm positive.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Go ahead, look it up. Let me
Okay.
continue. You can find our album on Spotify, Bandcamp, and look up Alienation. Okay, so it is June 29th. Okay. It is June 29th. June 29th, Cage Brewing with Lassiu. Thank you for having us, Lassiu.
And on the last podcast, I think we said the 23rd as well.
Yeah, but that's okay. No one listened to that one.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That one was terrible.
We performed yesterday with Phantom Funk, Spork, and the States at Lakeland Live. Awesome show. Thank you guys again for having us. Can't wait to be back. We played well last night. I will say.
The drum set I played was fantastic.
Yes.
It wasn't my drum set.
Thank you, Phantom Funk, for that.
Yeah, that drum set was great.
But you can check all their stuff out on Facebook, all the social media stuff, and we'll be posting this one soon, and we'll be back in probably a couple days. So thanks for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast with Beau Santana.